Chapter 675. Are there any special places? Luo Feng asked casually, but he wasn't too interested, because the world of Lashalt was a vast continent that was constructed, and not formed from the universe. Even if there were some treasures left behind by the powerful warriors of the Golden Horn clan, they would have long been swept clean. Elder Kubu noticed Luo Feng's lack of interest and thought, "Master wants me to kill this human Luo Feng at all costs. However, there's a human undying beside him, and that's Si Fan Chi. Their strength far surpasses mine. As long as they are here, I have no chance of killing Luo Feng. If I can't keep this human Luo Feng in Lasheo world, I'm afraid I won't have a chance. After the soul was invaded and controlled, it would be absolutely loyal to the master. The master's orders were the most important. Even if he had to sacrifice his life, he wouldn't care. Our Golden Horn clan has a rule: the moment one reaches universe level, he has to leave the clan and go out to train." Elder Kebu said, "Hence, in some desolate places in Laosi world, there will be some undyings who build their own shrines, taking in the elites who come out to roam the world. Our Golden Horn clan encourages some powerful beings to go to some desolate places to build shrines. This also causes the youths of our clan to look forward to roaming the world." Luo Feng laughed. "Over the long years, some powerful beings have fallen and left behind some ruins. Our elders wouldn't purposely search for treasures." Kubu laughed, and the other undyings, wanting to explore the entire Lasheo world is simply unrealistic. Hence there are many special places. At the same time, our Golden Horn clan, to allow the undyings and normal clan members to raise their strength, we've built a few Saint City-like places. After all, the Saint Tablet Pagoda is only good for experts of the space and metal lineages. Experts who comprehend other laws are also special." Luo Feng shook his head. "I'm not interested. There's one place, it would be a pity if your majesty doesn't go." The optical computer on Kubu's wristband suddenly shot out a beam of light, forming a projection in the air. Some simple pictures appeared on the projection. "This is a must-visit place for human experts to enter the hometown of the Golden Horn clan." Luo Feng, who had been very casual all this while, glanced at the pictures. His heart trembled and his eyes gleamed. He stared at the projection in front of him. How could this be? How could this be? Luo Feng's heart was in turmoil. The image in the photo was of a huge statue in a mountain valley. The entire statue was a huge lizard-like monster, a giant one-horned lizard. The invisible pressure it exuded made people's hearts palpitate through the photo. "It's him! Beast God! It's the statue of the Beast God!" Luo Feng stared hard at the picture. The encounters on Blood River continent made Luo Feng know that in an incomparably distant era, there was an incredibly terrifying beast god that fought against the absolute beings of the Virtual Universe Company. Even though he hadn't personally seen it before, Luo Feng could feel how terrifying it was. It far surpassed the Golden Horned Beast, far surpassed the Destruction Beast. Elder Kubu smiled when he saw Luo Feng's expression. "This is a very special place in our Golden Horn clan's hometown. It's also a place that almost all powerful human beings have to visit, Beast God Canyon." "Beast God Canyon?" Luo Feng looked at Elder Kubu. The Golden Horn tribe also addressed this statue as the Beast God? "Our tribe's greatest being, Elder Hiroto, once said that his absolute technique was comprehended from this Beast God statue." Elder Kubu exclaimed. "Back then, Elder Hiroto even said, as long as anyone can comprehend this Beast God statue, then that person will have power comparable to him." Luo Feng's entire body trembled. Comparable to Hiroto's power? Hiroto, that was the greatest leader of the Golden Horn tribe. To be able to guard the entire tribe by himself, how great was that? "It's because Elder Hiroto said this," Elder Kubu exclaimed. "Over 1,000,000,000,000 years, countless of our tribe members have gone to look at this Beast God statue. However, no one has discovered its secret. Even among the eminent elders, They had never heard of any eminent elder comprehending this giant beast god statue. Even many of your great beings have come here just to look at this beast god statue. They want to comprehend it and have power comparable to Hiroto. However, it seems like I've never heard of anyone comprehending it. Of course, maybe there are great beings amongst the humans who have comprehended this beast god statue, but they haven't made it public. Luo Feng was speechless. So, the greatest leader in the history of the Golden Horn tribe, Hiroto, had that power after comprehending this statue. Elder Si Fanqi, there's such a thing? Luo Feng looked at Si Fanqi beside him. Si Fanqi nodded, following which he smiled and shook his head. However, over these countless years, other than the great Hiroto, no one else has been able to comprehend this beast god statue. Even when I look at it, I feel that it's a very normal statue. Those engravings aren't special at all, I can't understand them at all. Even our Golden Horn tribe once had a senior elder suggest to cut open this beast god statue and see if there's any special secrets within. Of course, out of respect for Elder Hiroto, and because we all believe in his words, we absolutely forbid anyone from destroying the beast god statue. However, I still can't see anything. Si Fanqi shook his head. Luo Feng was shocked within. Si Fanqi, that was an emperor-level undying, a powerful being that could teleport. If he was in the Ganwu universe country, probably only the country leader would be stronger than him. Such a being, yet he couldn't see anything. Bring me there, Luo Feng said directly. The UNMO planet ship left the sacred city and flew towards the Beast God Canyon. Your Majesty, for you to bring me there, I'm really thankful. Within the control room of the UNMO planet ship, the gray armored man Elder Ku Bu said. It's nothing. Luo Feng looked at the vast land outside. You two are going to the Beast God Canyon to visit a friend. Since it's along the way, we can go together. After which, Luo Feng turned and returned to his resting cabin. Dylan stayed in the cabin beside Luo Feng, in charge of protection. There's indeed no chance now. This Dylan has been following Luo Feng. His undying energy is always surrounding Luo Feng as a precaution. Elder Kubu looked at Dylan's back and thought, however, there's no rush. Once we get to the Beast God Canyon, the strong there are as many as the clouds. It's chaotic there, there'll definitely be a chance. The Beast God Canyon wasn't too far from the sacred city. After flying for close to a month, the UNMO planet ship reached its destination. In the air above the mountain range, the blood-colored triangular ship began to slow down. After a while it floated in mid-air. Hua! The cabin door opened. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others out, simultaneously keeping the UNMO planet ship in his internal world. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Elder Si Fanqi pointed into the distance. That is the Beast God Canyon. That huge Beast God statue is right there. Luo Feng looked into the distance. He could vaguely see a blurry silhouette within the canyon. Let's head over, Luo Feng ordered. So. In an instant, they flew over 10,000 kilometers. Luo Feng and the others flew directly into the air above the Beast God Canyon. So many Golden Horn people. Luo Feng looked at the cave dwellings of the Golden Horn people, as well as the others sitting on the vast ground. He couldn't help but exclaim within. Because Elder Hiroto said before, as long as one can understand this huge beast god statue, one will have power comparable to him. Hence, countless warriors of our Golden Horn race have gathered here. Elder Kubu pointed below, smiling. Look, that palace that's about 3,000 kilometers tall, it's a senior elder's palace. It's specially stationed here to protect the beast god statue. Luo Feng too saw the majestic palace below. However, compared to the huge beast god statue, the palace seemed very normal. The huge beast god statue is lying there in a deep sleep state. Its body length including that tail is about 10,000 kilometers. Kubu explained. Luo Feng swiftly descended and flew towards the huge beast god statue. Who? Luo Feng landed on the ground and looked up at the incomparably huge beast god statue. He had once obtained a beast god statue in Blood River World, however that statue was extremely small. At the same time, his statue had 4 hooves and a single horn that pierced the sky. And this one before him, the huge beast god statue that spanned over 10,000 kilometers, was lying there in deep sleep with its eyes closed. Every single scale was incomparably clear. What a terrifying pressure! It's just a lifeless statue, and it actually makes me feel the pressure from the elders of the sacred city. Luo Feng looked at the sleeping beast god statue and couldn't help but hold his breath. Your Majesty, no matter how hard we try, we can't discover the mysteries of this beast god statue. However, even undyings, even the elders, can't penetrate the statue and investigate its interior. Elder Si Fan Chi landed beside Luo Feng and exclaimed, "Nobody can understand its mysteries. I can't understand it either." Luo Feng frowned and said softly, "Right." He couldn't see through the miniature beast god statue that he had obtained. The golden-horned beast studied the tearing skyclaw, but it could sense the god within the miniature beast god statue. It could sense that mysterious concept. Following that concept, the golden-horned beast continuously improved and broke through. However, this majestic huge beast god statue before him, Luo Feng was very sure, just like his own statue, it was a beast god. Other than that terrifying pressure, he couldn't feel anything else. There has to be some mysteries. That hero wouldn't just randomly make a statue and play with his own race for 1,000,000,000 years. Luo Feng looked up at the huge beast god statue. I'll compare the two to the small statue and see what's the difference. I'll compare every single scale. And at this time, it wasn't just Luo Feng, it wasn't just the golden horned race, there were even a few other powerful beings amongst the humans that were studying the statue before them. Chapter 676. Dressed in silver armor, Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning as he looked up at the huge beast god statue. As he looked at the statue, the golden-horned beast in his internal world was carefully looking at the smaller statue, comparing it to each other. Luo Feng circled around the huge beast god statue, moving as fast as a blur. One step and he had already traversed 1,000 kilometers. Your Majesty? Dylan was curious. Dylan, what is this Majesty Luo Feng doing? Si Fan Chi was curious too. Is he trying to clearly see every part of the statue? However, countless of us have done this before, yet we haven't found anything special. I don't know either. Dylan shook his head. While the two of them were conversing, Luo Feng actually began to soar into the sky, flying up to 1,000 kilometers above the beast god statue. From there, he looked down at the back of the huge statue, looking at its back, neck, head and other parts. After a while, Luo Feng carefully looked through the entire statue once. Luo Feng's gaze finally shifted away from the huge beast god statue and looked down at the bottom of the canyon. With a glance, the vast tens of thousands of km wide and millions of km long valley floor, other than a few palaces and buildings, the ground was filled with many meditating golden horn race warriors. Over 100 million warriors, almost all of them sitting cross-legged. The formless aura they gave off wasn't any weaker than the huge beast god statue. Over 100 million warriors, generations of warriors have all studied the huge beast god statue, wanting to become a being like Hiroto. Luo Feng shook his head. After which, like a meteor, he swiftly descended. As he was about to reach the bottom of the canyon, his speed suddenly decreased, his silver boots slowly stepping on the ground. Your Majesty. Dylan and Si Fan Chi welcomed him. I need to think, Luo Feng said and sat crossed-legged on the ground, the armor on his body cracking the ground. Dylan and Si Fan Chi stood beside Luo Feng, silently protecting him. It's actually like that. This huge beast god statue and the small one I got in Blood River World are actually so different. Luo Feng thought about the results from before, and couldn't help but be shocked. The similarities: number 1, the outer appearance and body proportions are the same, it's definitely the same person. Second, the number of scales on their bodies is the same, 90729. The first difference is that the shape of the scales on its body is different. Secondly, this giant beast god statue doesn't have that kind of divine charm, that kind of concept. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and thought. There was a huge difference in the size of the two statues. One was tens of thousands of kilometers long, while the other was about 30 centimeters tall and 1 meter long. But no matter how different the two statues were, their body proportions were the same, and no matter what posture they were in, the number of scales on their bodies was exactly the same. Even the huge sleeping beast god statue, its abdomen and the scales on its claws that were curled up were invisible to the naked eye. However, Luo Feng used his earth body's telekinesis to scan it and discovered that the place where the beast god's huge body and claws were pressed together did not have scales because they were connected. There were scales too. It was as if a living ancient beast was lying there and had turned into a statue. So strange. They all have the same number of scales, 90729. However, the shape of the scales are different. The feeling it gives me is the smaller statue's scales are more orderly and divine. And this giant statue's scales don't seem to have any sort of order. Yet this giant statue is able to emit such a terrifying pressure. Just what is going on? Luo Feng thought hard. Ever since Hiroto had left the beast god's sculpture within the Golden Horn race, over the long years, who knew how many warriors had come over to study it? Even some powerful beings amongst the humans, like the Universe Knights and Universe Country leaders, had come over to study it. However, none of them had been able to understand this huge beast god sculpture. Maybe there were some who understood it but kept it a secret. However, at least publicly, no one had ever heard of anyone understanding it. With so many absolute beings unable to understand it, Luo Feng, who had just stepped into the Sector Lord level, with only some luck, wanting to understand it, was no doubt a fool's dream. Luo Feng sat there in deep thought. He sat there for over 3 months. Dylan, Si Fanchi, Kashna and the 5 human Sector Lords all obediently stood guard by his side. Elder Nakebu had already bid farewell to Luo Feng the moment he arrived at the canyon, heading to meet his good friends in the canyon. Dylan and the 5 Sector Lords weren't bored at all. This was their first time seeing the beast god statue too. They were all trying hard to understand it. They too had dreams, maybe they could completely understand it. That way they would be able to reach the heavens in one step. Si Fanchi and his disciple Kashno were bored out of their mind. Because they had already tried it before. Who? Luo Feng let out a long sigh. Your Majesty? Dylan and Si Fanchi immediately looked over. Nothing. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. After which he closed his eyes and a large part of his consciousness entered the internal world. The internal world was vast and vast. A UNMO planet ship was parked on a grass plain. As of now, with the internal world, the UNMO planet ship didn't need to be kept in Babata's storage space. Babata, combine the pictures I took earlier into the projection of the beast god statue. Black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside the ship and ordered. Understood. The UNMO planet ship immediately shot out a blurry beam of light. Finally, in mid-air, it formed an incomparably huge beast god sleeping statue that was over 10,000 kilometers long. It looked exactly the same as the huge beast god statue outside. Even though it was just a projection, there was still a formless pressure emanating from it. However, it wasn't as strong and obvious as the huge beast god statue. I'm sure. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the huge statue projection. His eyes gleamed. The problem is definitely in the scales. The huge beast god statue and the small beast god statue, they both have a peculiar 90,729 scales. One of them is over 10,000 kilometers long and one that's only 1 m long, yet they have the same number of scales. I think the moment the number is wrong, there wouldn't be this pressure. After Luo Feng had this thought, he immediately ordered, Babata, alter the projection of the statue, split one of the large scales into two smaller ones. Yes. Babata replied. The huge statue projection in the sky, one of the scales faintly split into two smaller ones. Rumble. The pressure dissipated. The heart-palpitating projection immediately became a very normal statue projection without any pressure at all. Indeed. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Return it to its original state, simultaneously change the engravings on one of the scales. Luo Feng ordered again. After recovering, the faint pressure appeared once more. The engravings changed slightly and the pressure disappeared, becoming normal again. Luo Feng was even more certain that the key to the problem was the 90,729 scales on the statue. The black-clothed Masha Luo Feng waved his hand and a small beast god statue appeared. This small beast god statue stood on all fours, its single horn piercing the sky. That domineering pressure emanated from it, that unique aura. It was almost as though Luo Feng was looking at the ancient beast with his own eyes. Babata, enlarge this small beast god statue too. Enlarge it to 10,000 kilometers. Black-clothed Luo Feng ordered. Yes. Immediately there were two incomparably huge beast god projections in mid-air. One was in a deep sleep state, the other was standing on all fours, looking up with a domineering killing intent. They both have a pressure. Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned and rubbed his chin, muttering, the sleeping beast god statue's pressure is stronger, the standing beast god statue's pressure is weaker. No, that's not right. It should be said that the standing beast god statue has its own spirit, it has its own aura, gathering its pressure, and that huge beast god statue doesn't have that spirit, it doesn't have that unique feeling. Looking at the sleeping beast god statue, it doesn't have the feeling of seeing a living beast god. Without a god, it causes the pressure to scatter, that's why it seems so strong. As long as one wasn't an idiot. They could clearly feel that the statue of the beast god, which was clearly standing, was even more lifelike, as though it was a living beast god. One felt like a living being. The other felt like a dead object. The difference was huge. The scale engravings are different too. Black-clothed Luo Feng thought, I'll give it a try. Rumble in the distance, a black silhouette flew over and landed on the vast grass field. It stomped on the ground, causing the grass to cave in. That was an incomparably huge mountain-like beast, the golden-horned beast. The golden-horned beast studies the beast god statues the best. Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered, I'll let the golden-horned beast try carving the statue. Yes, carve. Personally imitating the carving, to feel the difference in the scale engravings, this was Luo Feng's idea. I'll first carve the sleeping beast god statue. Black-clothed Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Immediately a large amount of world energy gathered on the prairie and began to form a 10,000 kilometers long large mountain range. This mountain range was purely used for carving. And the world energy simultaneously formed over 10,000 different carving knives. The large ones were over 100 kilometers long, the small ones smaller than an ant. The golden-horned beast stood on the prairie, its scaled wings slightly flapping, circling the 10,000 kilometers long mountain range and simultaneously using spirit energy to control the 10,000 carving knives, swiftly carving the mountain range. After reaching the sector lord level in strength control, using spirit energy to control, even if it was down to a millimeter, a micron, or even a nanometer, there wouldn't be any mistakes. Success. After a while, a huge rock sleeping beast god statue was carved. It was extremely lifelike. It's really difficult, every carving is so complicated, however that's weird. Why don't I feel any pressure? The golden-horned beast was in mid-air, its eyes filled with suspicion. Whatever, I'll try to imitate the small beast god statue. Another 10,000 kilometers long mountain range appeared on the prairie, the golden-horned beast once again controlled the 10,000 different carving knives and began carving. The beast god statue's rough shape was very easy to carve. The main thing was the scale engravings were the most complicated. Howl! After carving the 12th scale, the golden-horned beast let out a pained roar. Its huge head shook a little, enduring the pain and continuing to carve. The more it carved, the more pain the golden-horned beast felt. It was like a formless restriction, a pressure was pressing down on its entire body, even its soul. Howl! The golden-horned beast let out a painful howl. Its nostrils, eyes, scaled wings, claws and tail all had large amounts of golden blood stains. After which with a howl, its entire body fell from mid-air, smashing into the prairie. Chapter 677. The plains shook violently, the huge mountain-like golden-horned beast fell onto the plains, its scales were filled with golden blood stains, even some of the scales had cracks, its eyes, nose and mouth had golden blood stains. Immediately, the surging world energy spread out and enveloped the entire golden-horned beast, beginning to heal the wounds of the golden-horned beast. Outside world, Lazio world, within the Beast God Canyon. Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged like the other 100 million trainers, suddenly groaned in pain, both his hands grabbing onto the rocks on the ground, crushing them into powder. "Your Majesty? Your Majesty Luo Feng, what's wrong?" Similarly sitting cross-legged, Dylan and Si Fanqi were shocked. They noticed the pain on Luo Feng's face. Luo Feng didn't reply, both his hands grabbing onto the ground, the veins on his forehead bulging. "Who?" Exhaling, Luo Feng opened his eyes tiredly, looking at Dylan and Si Fanqi. "Nothing, don't worry." Dylan and Si Fanqi exchanged glances. "Nothing? It would be weird if there was nothing." Just sitting there, under the watchful eyes of these two undyings, Luo Feng definitely didn't receive any attack. However, under such a situation, Luo Feng actually revealed such a painful expression. This was simply too strange. Luo Feng was a universe warrior. He wouldn't get sick for no reason. This was impossible. Seems like His Majesty has some secrets, Dylan thought. This human Luo Feng has some secrets too. Si Fanqi thought too. Luo Feng sat there, looking up at the distant, incomparably huge sleeping beast god statue, his heart pounding. "Why? I've only copied the scale carvings from the statue and I actually feel a formless pressure, not only on the golden-horned beast's body, but even its soul, causing the Masha clansman and my earth body's soul to be affected. How can this be?" Luo Feng was filled with disbelief. He had also copied and carved the statue of the sleeping beast deity, but why was there a problem when he copied the statue of the small beast deity? And the golden-horned beast was in the internal world, its own territory, it couldn't possibly be attacked by any other absolute warriors. What's more, Dylan and Si Fanqi were right beside. If I'm not attacked by any other warrior, then who's attacking me? If you didn't attack me, you wouldn't have been injured for no reason. Luo Feng frowned. The golden-horned beast was heavily injured by the pressure within the internal world. That formless and terrifying pressure on both its body and soul was incomparably terrifying. Luo Feng recalled the feeling from before and couldn't help but shudder. That was a feeling that he couldn't resist at all. Then there are only two explanations. First, there is a super-existence whose strength far surpasses my imagination. He stopped me from copying the small beast god statue, so he punished me. Luo Feng thought, two, if it's not a strong warrior stopping me, then it's the universe laws that are suppressing me. The universe was pressing down on Luo Feng. Yes. According to Luo Feng's understanding, the entire universe had its own rules. For example, if the universe space was destroyed, it would naturally be repaired. Once their speed reached the speed of light, they would be transported to the dark universe. These were all manifestations of the operating rules of the universe itself. If his actions had violated the laws of the universe, it was very likely that he would be rebounded. In the primeval universe, one had to abide by the laws of the universe. The operation of the universe has its own special laws. Anything that goes against the laws of the universe will be rebounded. Luo Feng thought, I've seen those that go against the laws of the universe. Like the nameless manual on the metal board on Earth, it's obviously breaking the basic laws of evolution. That absolute being was able to create a technique that went against the laws of the universe. However, Luo Feng, obviously, he only had a superficial understanding of the laws of the universe. He wasn't able to avoid the rebounding pressure. There are two possibilities. Just which one is it? Luo Feng thought, an absolute being punishing me? This possibility is extremely low. Because to be able to not be detected by Si Fan Chi and the others, and to be able to attack the golden horned beast through my internal world. To be able to do that, it would definitely be an existence that far surpasses my imagination. And such an existence, would there be a need to constantly monitor me? Even though Luo Feng was confident, he wasn't arrogant. He still hadn't reached the stage where he could be monitored by such an existence. And I was rebounded when copying the small beast god statue's scales. Luo Feng thought. All in all, there was a 90% chance that the universe laws were suppressing him. Who? After making this judgment, Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. The universe was vast and vast, nurturing trillions of races, nurturing countless life forms and warriors. The universe laws were the most just, without any bias. Even within the golden horned beast's inherited memories, it only described the existence of the universe laws. However, it was obvious these laws were for the stability of the entire universe. It wouldn't directly kill a life form. At least within the inherited memories, there was no mention of the universe laws killing anyone. Did my earlier actions touch the bottom line of the universe laws? Luo Feng looked up at the distant huge beast god statue, feeling excited within. The bottom line of the universe laws, what did it represent? It represented the secrets within the statue, the pinnacle of the universe's secrets, even being affected by the universe laws. If I can understand this huge secret, like what Hiroto said, becoming an invincible being like that should really be true. Luo Feng thought, no wonder no one has been able to understand this sleeping beast god statue in 1 trillion years. After all, this sleeping beast god statue is the same life form as the small beast god statue. The pinnacle of the universe secret. Luo Feng was truly excited. Because he realized he had received an incredible opportunity. The beast god statue could be a path that would lead him towards becoming an invincible being in the universe. Even someone as confident as Luo Feng was very clear on how difficult it was to become an absolute being in the universe. Humanity, the Golden Horn race, etc. had existed for a very long time in the universe. However, the number of knights in the universe were already so few and far between. Then, like Hiroto, an absolute being that could lead an entire race to stand tall in the universe, how rare was that? At least in the history of the Golden Horn race, there was only one like that. My small beast god statue is obviously much more valuable than this large one. Luo Feng thought, it's fine for me to copy the large statue. However, when I copy the small one, I'll be suppressed by the universe laws. Also, the small beast god statue obviously has a unique god, almost like a true beast god. And this small-scale beast god statue was obtained from the beast god's home, Blood River world. It should be the original. That large beast god statue. I don't know which absolute being carved it. After realizing the meaning of the two statues, Luo Feng was very clear. He had to grab hold of the opportunity. The large beast god statue should be a lower-level statue. The small beast god statue should be a higher-level statue. Luo Feng judged within, it's fine to copy the large one, and even though the pressure from the large statue is strong, it has no god. Then, I'll eat one bite at a time. I'll first carefully study the scale carvings of the large statue. Once I'm strong enough, I'll study the small one. Luo Feng thought, This small beast god statue was also left behind by some being. Since they could leave it behind, it's obviously not impossible to resist the universe laws. Luo Feng was clear, he was only a small ant in the human race, and the human race was only one of the few pinnacle races out of the trillions of races. Compared to the universe laws, he was simply too insignificant. Let's begin. Luo Feng looked at the huge beast god statue within the canyon. He released his spirit energy and carefully felt the carvings of the sleeping beast god statue. Even though he had successfully copied the statue, he didn't feel any pressure at all, hence Luo Feng had to figure out the reason. Ripples. When Luo Feng carefully used his spirit energy to examine the carvings, it wasn't like the last time where he simply scanned the entire statue. He carefully felt and felt it. Gradually, Luo Feng felt the carvings cause ripples in the surroundings. Those were the ripples of the universe laws, however they weren't gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time or space. However, these ripples made one's heart palpitate. The formless pressure was caused by these ripples. So the mystery lies here. How can the carvings cause ripples? These carvings seem to be connected as one. Luo Feng slowly discovered something. Actually, what Luo Feng discovered, the Golden Horn race warriors and the human warriors had long discovered. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many warriors gathered here to study it. Within the internal world, as his earth body was carefully studying the huge beast god statue, within the internal world on a large grass plain, the golden horned beast was once again carving the sleeping beast god statue's scales. I was wrong before. The carving should be done in one go, over 90,000 scales should be carved in one stroke, forming a mysterious object similar to the origin law engravings, triggering any laws other than gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time or space. Demon Killer Luo Feng stood beside and watched the golden horned beast carving. Demon Killer Luo Feng watched the golden horned beast carving. His earth body watched the sleeping beast god statue. Occasionally, Demon Killer Luo Feng would look at the small beast god statue and experience the spirit, allowing the other two bodies to understand it too. As the saying goes, after being punched 1,000 times, the meaning will show itself. By the same logic, there was a very boring way to comprehend the laws of law, and that was to constantly practice and copy a secret art created by a powerhouse, and then copy it according to the trajectory of the powerhouse's secret art. Copy it once, 10,000 times, or even billions of times. As the technique became more and more accurate, one would naturally sense some low ripples. This was a stupid method. Not seeking to comprehend the true wonders, only to be able to unleash it. This method was destined to be unable to comprehend the origin law. However, Luo Feng understood, this beast god statue's secrets were much harder than just comprehending the space or time laws to become a universe knight. Becoming a universe knight was already very far away from him. Then comprehending the mysteries would be even further away. Since that was the case, then he would use the stupid method one time, 10,000 times, trillions of times. Others won't have an accurate standard when copying, because the sleeping beast god statue makes one unable to find the true mysteries within. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked up at the golden horned beast carving again and again. However, I have an accurate standard. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked down at the miniature beast god statue in his hand. It was very simple. When carving, he would bring the feeling of carving closer to the miniature beast god statue's mysteries. Within his heart, he would constantly feel the mysteries, and simultaneously carve, shape, spirit. Only then would he be able to gradually succeed. This was the stupid method Luo Feng thought to comprehend the beast god statue's mysteries, and it was also the most practical method for someone with his level of strength. I don't seek to fully comprehend the mysteries, I only seek to gain a little bit from it, and that will benefit me immensely. When my strength is sufficient in the future, I'll slowly study it. Luo Feng thought this way: it was important to know one's own limit. P.S. First chapter here. Chapter 678. Once it said it would do it, within the vast internal world, the golden horned beast sat in front of the mountain, using its spirit energy to control the tens of thousands of carving knives to attempt carving again and again. Occasionally it would use the world energy to restore the mountain, then carve again, restore again, carve again. This cycle, carving the carvings of the huge beast god statue, failed time and time again. It couldn't feel any pressure or intent. Failed 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. I've failed over 3,000 times. That's hard, then I'll just carve a few scales from the small beast god statue. The golden horned beast had the experience of being pressured by the universe laws before, hence it was extremely careful in its carving. Carving the carvings of the small beast god statue naturally gave it a unique feeling. It was like carving the laws of the universe. Following the carving, the formless pressure of the universe laws once again descended, gradually becoming stronger. Stop. After carving 10 scales, the golden horned beast stopped, after which it roared and turned its head to control the large amounts of carving knives to continue carving the huge beast god statue. The earth body sat in the beast god canyon, observing the huge statue, constantly sensing the strange ripples. The golden horned beast was in charge of carving and testing. The Masha clansman was holding the small beast god statue, constantly observing it, sensing the unique spirit and intent of the statue. The more he sensed it, the more he felt how terrifying the beast god was. It was an existence that made people tremble, an existence that made people submit. The three combined. Without sleep or rest, he was completely immersed in it. Because the golden horned beast carves in one breath, it was as fast as lightning, hence in a day on earth, it could carve over 10,000 times. Under such a state, in the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Space beasts were naturally lonely. This golden horned beast stayed on the plains, not resting or sleeping as it controlled the carving knives to carve the huge mountain in front of it. In an instant, the carving was completed. The world energy would restore the mountain and carve again. Its speed was terrifying. Woo! Just as the golden horned beast was about to control the world energy to restore the mountain, it suddenly stopped. Rumble! The golden horned beast that was originally lying there suddenly stood up. Its dark golden eyes were filled with excitement, staring at the sleeping beast god statue that was over 10,000 kilometers long. F***CK. The demon killer black-clothed Luo Feng's body flashed and landed before the statue. He extended his hand to touch the stone carvings, feeling the faint, extremely weak ripples from the statue. Waves. It's the fluctuation of the universal laws. It's not any of the universal laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time, or space. Demon killer Luo Feng howled excitedly. Damn, I've succeeded. I've actually managed to copy that feeling. I've triggered a ripple from the universe origin energy. Woo! On the plains, the golden horned beast also raised its head and let out an excited roar. The sound reverberated throughout the endless plains. Outside the beast god canyon, Luo Feng, who was sitting crossed-legged, couldn't contain his excitement, staring at the distant beast god statue. He really wanted to roar. Too excited, really too excited. It's been over a year, I've already copied it over 5 million times. I've tried copying it over 100 times. The Masha clansman has always been staring at it, memorizing the energy and the state, trying to infuse it into his subconsciousness. I didn't expect that I'd actually succeed once. Luo Feng was extremely excited. The success of this time's copy, actually the ripples from the golden horned beast's copy were very weak. It was already extremely weak. And the huge beast god statue's own ripples were very normal, and the pressure it produced wasn't any weaker than the Elder's universe night level. And the golden horned beast's copy didn't have any pressure at all. Pressure, nothing. The universe origin energy ripples can only be a trillionth of the huge beast god statues. Luo Feng thought. However, at least there's already some result. Right now these results aren't of much help to my strength. But at least it proves one thing: my method works. Continue. Constantly improving, as the energy I can copy gets stronger and stronger, the benefits to me in the future will definitely be shocking. Luo Feng knew the beast god statue was a true treasure trove. His luck was good enough. The small beast god statue itself couldn't be copied at all. The moment it was copied, the universe origin laws would interfere and suppress it. The large beast god statue could be copied, however it didn't have the true energy, causing one to not have a clear goal in mind. Only by combining the two could one succeed. And the small beast god statue in Blood River Continent was a treasure, even though no one understood its wonders. Its position was extremely high. At least the number of beast god statues in the universe were extremely few, and one of them had landed in Luo Feng's hands. Your Majesty. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Dylan and Si Fanqi felt Luo Feng's emotions fluctuate and asked. Ha. Luo Feng turned to look at Dylan and Si Fanqi, saying, I've been sitting here for over a year, however I'm very interested in the beast god statue. I'll probably stay here for another 10 or 100 years. Elder Si Fanqi, if you have matters to attend to, return to the Tawan tribe as soon as possible. I'll leave Laseo world after my study ends. Time is unlimited. Elder Si Fanqi smiled. 100 or 1,000 years to me is but an instant. Your Majesty doesn't have to worry about me. If there's anything urgent, I'll definitely tell you and leave. Luo Feng nodded, glancing at Dylan. The two exchanged glances. There was no need to speak further. Dylan's mission was to protect Luo Feng, and at Domain Lord level, it was the final foundational level. At universe level, he would be in the few bases of the Virtual Universe Company, and at Domain Lord level, he would still have the protection of the guards. However, at Sector Lord level, he would truly be roaming the universe alone. Hence, during the time when Luo Feng was a Domain Lord, the most important thing was Luo Feng's training. Dylan would rather train for a few thousand years than disturb Luo Feng's training. Luo Feng's three great bodies worked together. After the first success, he made the golden horned beast try again. However, he discovered that it would only succeed once out of 10 attempts. After another half a month, he reached the point where he would succeed once out of 3 attempts. After another half a month, he finally stabilized, reaching the point where he would succeed once. At this time, Luo Feng had finally grasped the weakest aspect of the concept. Luo Feng named this concept the Beast God concept. This Beast God concept, I already have a little bit of confidence. Even the golden horned beasts tearing Skyclaw seems to have gotten stronger. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on the broken rocks. In the distance he could see the silhouettes of the golden horned race. Over 100 million warriors sat within the canyon, almost like a swarm of locusts. Since I've barely grasped the Beast God concept, then, I'll begin my long-term training here. Luo Feng made his decision. Training anywhere wasn't the same as training? Even with his wife, parents and children, occasionally meeting in the virtual universe was fine. After all, it was 100% virtual, no different from the real world. During this training period, I'll first exchange for the 10,000 soul control technique. Luo Feng immediately sent a thread of his consciousness into the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe, Yuxiang Mountain, Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Within the study, Luo Feng sat in front of his desk, opening his laptop and swiftly opening the treasure trove file, following which he opened the techniques category. Within a short while, he found the 10,000 soul control technique. 10,000 hearts controlling soul was one of the top-tier control technique. It was much stronger than the soul imprint Hu Yenbo had created. Even though Hu Yenbo was an official rank, he couldn't do anything to the Sector Lord Insectoid race mother nest. Even if he had the money, he had no way to purchase the valuable manuals. After all, the entire human race had only created 29 techniques to control the bug clan mother nest. All of them were extremely expensive. Damn. So expensive. Luo Feng looked at the prices. It was different from the time-space scribbles which could be purchased in layers. This 10,000 soul control technique couldn't be purchased in layers. If one wanted to buy it, one had to buy it all at once. 10,000 soul control secret technique. A secret technique to control soul slaves. Exchange price: 150,000 points, 30% off in primitive secret realm, 20% off in absolute beginning secret realm, 10% off in heaven and earth secret realm, full price in last phase secret realm. 5 million points. He really dares to ask for such a price. Luo Feng looked at the price, his heart aching. It was simply too ruthless. Teacher Hu Yenbo's technique soul imprint. The entire soul imprint technique's price is only about 10,000 points, and just the slave imprint alone, I'm afraid it's only worth a few thousand points. And this 10,000 soul control technique. It's also used to control soul slaves, yet it's worth 5 million points. Babata, who was standing on Luo Feng's shoulder, curled his lips. Don't think it's too expensive. If you're not a core member of the Virtual Universe Company, even if you have 2 million or 3 million mixed elements, don't even think about buying this manual. As long as a warrior obtains a bug clan mother nest, they'll normally go bankrupt to buy the technique to control the mother nest. As long as the Virtual Universe Company is willing to sell it in an auction, there'll be a huge group of warriors bidding for it. Luo Feng rubbed his chin. This he naturally knew. However, he was poor. My points: the previous 200,000 point mission, when the 1-year time limit was up, there were still 2 targets still on the run, resulting in my completion rate being only 85%. I only got 170,000 points from that mission. The most points I got from the 2 impossible level missions. Demon Note Mountain was 400,000 points, Confusion Galaxy was 500,000 points. Luo Feng looked at his points displayed on the page. Total points: 1316,060 PS. Second chapter here. Continue writing the third chapter. Chapter 679. The points he got were mainly from the 10 dangerous level missions and 2 impossible level missions. Only then did he accumulate 131,6060 points. Compared to other universe level geniuses, Luo Feng's points were already extremely high. This 10,000 soul control technique cost 5 million points. Since he was a Primal Region member, he had a 30% discount and still needed 5 million points. If I buy this 10,000 soul control technique, what do I do when I buy the 4th volume of the time-space scribbles? Right now I'm pretty much done with the 3rd picture. The next thing I need to do is to comprehend the 72 essences. After that, I'll have to comprehend the 4th picture. Luo Feng frowned. The 4th volume of the time-space scribbles required 1 million points. Where would he get the points from? And this time-space scribbles was almost like the great being that created the 9-universe tablet, guiding him from the side. When his Masha clansmen comprehended the space laws, the moment he met any doubts, he could easily gain enlightenment by reading the time-space scribbles. This was the best reference for training the 9-universe tablet. He definitely had to buy it. Whatever. I'll cross the bridge when I get to it. Can a living person die from not being able to pee? Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Once the bug clan mother nest is nurtured, its potential is limitless. I'll have to spend all my points. Immediately, Luo Feng gently tapped to buy. 3 notifications swiftly appeared on the screen. Trade successful. After deducting 1.05 million points, you have 266,060 points remaining. Please wait, someone will immediately send the scroll over. Luo Feng looked at his points on the screen. That 266060 number made his heart ache. He really didn't have enough points to spend. Where would he get the points to buy the fourth volume of the time-space scribbles? And domain lords had to wait for the Virtual Universe Company to send someone to do missions. If the Virtual Universe Company didn't send someone, there would be no missions. Only when sent would there be missions to earn points. The fourth volume is 1 million points, the fifth is 10 million, the sixth is 100 million. My God! Luo Feng blinked. To get the best resources, he had to pay a huge price. His remaining 260,000 points weren't even enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. After a while, the members of the Virtual Universe Company sent the 10,000 soul control technique to the primal region of Yuxiang Mountain. Luo Feng personally went to receive the silver briefcase with the technique. 10,000 hearts control technique. Luo Feng placed the briefcase on the table and opened it with a click. There was only one book in the silver suitcase. This book was one size bigger than a normal 14-inch laptop. It was 12 centimeters thick, and the paper was extremely thin. The entire 10,000 soul control technique book had nearly 5,000 pages. On the book cover, there were the words, 10,000 hearts manipulation, and Tip's signature in the corner. Tip? The one who created this secret technique? As Luo Feng pondered, he casually searched for information related to Tip on the laptop beside him. However, the search results showed that he didn't have enough authority, so he was forbidden from searching. This myriad souls control technique is one of the best techniques to control the insectoid mother nest. To be able to create such a technique, the creator must have an extremely high status in the human race. As a member of the primitive mystic realm, I still don't have the authority to investigate. Luo Feng shook his head. He didn't think any further and flipped open the thick book. As he read, he understood more and more. Amongst the 29 techniques to control the insectoid mother nest, the effects of the 10,000 hearts technique were indeed stronger. Sector lords could control sector lord level mother nests, however the requirements were extremely strict. According to Luo Feng's initial understanding, the most important part of the 10,000 hearts technique was the 10,000 hearts. The main point was to multitask, and it was under extreme circumstances, and Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude had reached over 3,200. That meant, when Luo Feng maintained his control over every thought to its extreme, he could simultaneously control over 3,200 spirit energies. The myriad hearts soul control technique was divided into 5 levels. First level, 1 mental state 2 ND level, 10 mental state 3 RD level, 100 mental state 4 TH level, 1000 mental state 5 TH level, 10,000 mental state, of which the first level was the easiest. Normally a sector lord level spirit reader could easily train it with a bit of effort. The moment it was trained, one could at most control one soul slave. This second level was much harder. After training it, one could control 10 soul slaves. Normal sector lord spirit readers would need to spend a huge amount of effort to train it. As for the third level, it was extremely difficult. Firstly, one's soul amplitude had to at least reach 100 before one could train it. This was the prerequisite. Even if one's soul amplitude reached the limit of a sector lord of 100, one would still need to spend countless years of research before one could train it. The moment it was trained, one would be able to control 100 soul slaves. The fourth level was extremely difficult. Sector Lord level spirit readers had almost no chance of training it, because the prerequisite was to reach a spirit energy amplitude of 1000. Normally many Emperor level undyings could only reach that level. Even if one reached a spirit energy amplitude of 1000, training it was still extremely difficult. After training it, one could control 1000 soul slaves. The fifth level, the legendary level. The prerequisite, spirit energy amplitude, had to reach 10,000. However, even the great beings of those universe country leaders had pitiful amounts of spirit energy amplitudes that reached 10,000. According to the book's description, even the creator of this level didn't manage to train it. He only followed the reasoning and logic of the laws and finally wrote the technique. Because the creator himself didn't even reach the extremely harsh requirement of having a spirit energy amplitude of 10,000. This requirement already negated countless undyings, much less that difficult training method. And the moment it was trained, its power would be terrifying. One could control up to 10,000 soul slaves. 10,000 soul slaves. All of them are soul slaves that can cultivate on their own. Luo Feng exclaimed. However, the requirements are too harsh. According to my guess, the demon note inheritance is split into 3 levels. The first level is 3,333 levels. I estimate that if one completely accepts the demon note inheritance, one's spirit energy amplitude would only reach 10,000. And over the countless years of demon note inheritance, there hasn't been a single life form that has reached the highest point of the inheritance. To reach 10,000 spirit energy amplitudes, one can only imagine the difficulty. The 5th level, even the creator didn't manage to train it. It's just reasoning and logic of the origin laws and imagination. However, to be able to get the virtual universe company to confirm and sell it, I think the pinnacle of the virtual universe company's absolute being must have confirmed that the 5th level can be trained. Luo Feng was very clear. The pinnacle beings of the virtual universe company were existences that even the powerful beings that built Demon Mountain weren't willing to go against. Closing the book, Luo Feng smiled as he sat in front of his desk. He was in a good mood. According to the book's description, one had to complete the 3rd level of the 10,000 soul control technique. Only then would one have the confidence to control a Sector Lord level Bug Clan Mother nest with Sector Lord strength. One had to complete the 4th level of the 10,000 soul control technique. Only then would one have a sliver of hope to control an undying level Bug Clan Mother nest with undying strength. As for the 5th level, even the creator didn't manage to train it. He only said that after training it, its power would be unparalleled. One had to know that even the undying level Bug Clan Mother nest could only produce so many undying level bug soldiers. And the moment the 5th level was completed, one could control up to 10,000 soul slaves. Each slave could train on their own and have their own will. For example, controlling 10 to 100 undying level Bug Clan Mother nests. That was simply unparalleled in the universe. The creator is purely fantasizing and daydreaming. Luo Feng shook his head. Just the requirement of having a soul amplitude of 10,000 is unbelievable. Even Demon Note General didn't have a life form that could complete the inheritance after 1,000,000,000 years. Obviously the 5th level's requirement is even harder than becoming a knight. According to the manual, the higher the spirit energy amplitude, the easier it would be to train. Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. This technique, the soul amplitude, was the foundation. The stronger the foundation, the easier it would be to train. The foundation would also determine one's highest achievement. The soul amplitude was at 100, which determined that the highest achievement would be the 3rd level, 100 hearts. Normally, the closer one was to one's limit, the harder it would be to improve. This made it so that one would need an incomparably long period of time to study and train. And Luo Feng's soul amplitude was over 3,200. Training the 3rd level 100 hearts was simply like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. The foundation was too solid. Naturally, training it would be thousands to tens of thousands of times easier than those with a soul amplitude of 100. According to the book, the highest I can reach is the 4th level. Luo Feng thought. However, obviously the 4th level is extremely difficult. After all, this technique, even though the most important aspect is the soul amplitude, the origin laws and spirit energy quality etc. all have requirements. Normally the 4th level is for undying energy to train. The world energy is much harder to train. With his plan set, Luo Feng began his training in the Beast God Canyon. His Earth body's consciousness was immersed in the origin orb, controlling the threads of world energy and training the 10,000 soul control technique. The origin orb was Luo Feng's soul core, energy core. Domain Lord level was split into genetic energy and spirit energy. However, after becoming a sector lord, it merged into world energy. The Masha clansman was studying the space laws. The golden-horned beast continued to carve, trying to understand the concept of the beast god. When it got tired, it would switch to training the first claw. When it wasn't tired, it would continue to crazily carve the concept of the beast god. Studying the concept of the beast god actually increased the strength of the first claw even faster. The three great bodies trained simultaneously. Origin law comprehension, 10,000 soul control technique, beast god conception, all three were improving. Beast god canyon, vast and silent. Over 100 million cultivators sat crossed-legged around the huge beast god statue. Within the cave there were many of them too. Just the undyings alone numbered in the hundreds of thousands. On the cliff, at the edge of one of the caves, a man in rock-gray armor was sitting cross-legged. It was that elder Kubu. He was looking downwards, as though he was looking at the gigantic beast god statue. In reality, he noticed one of the people surrounding the gigantic beast god statue, Luo Feng, from the corner of his eyes. It's already been 100 years and this human is still sitting there without moving. Even Dylan and Si Fan Chi, the two undyings, are not moving. Elder Kubu was furious. That Dylan and Si Fan Chi are preventing any Golden Horn clansman from getting close and disturbing Luo Feng's training. To kill Luo Feng, there's really no way at all. 3 chapters completed, calling for monthly votes. I love monthly votes. Is everyone willing to vote for me? Chapter 680. In the blink of an eye, 182 years had passed. Around the huge beast god statue were over 100 million warriors sitting crossed-legged, and within the walls, 99% of them had never stood up. To the long lifespans of these universe warriors, a short 182 years was simply too short. Elder Si Fan Chi and Dylan sat crossed-legged behind Luo Feng. A formless, undying energy surrounded Luo Feng, protecting him well. Mr. Dylan, this Majesty Luo Feng, has been training for close to 200 years. Doesn't he have a plan? When will he finish? Si Fan Chi turned to look at Dylan and asked. Dylan smiled indifferently and shook his head. Of course he can train as long as he wants. Si Fan Chi and Dylan both looked at Luo Feng simultaneously. Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged, stretched his neck and moved his shoulders, after which he stood up with a hua sound. Your Majesty. Dylan, Terrafan, and Chilian stood up. This caused Kashna and the 5 human realm lords who had their eyes closed to meditate to open their eyes and stand up. These few years, I've troubled you all. Luo Feng turned and smiled. It's nothing, Dylan said. Close to 200 years isn't much. I thought your Majesty had been training here for tens of thousands of years. Si Fan Chi smiled. Luo Feng turned to look at the huge beast god statue, exclaiming within. Training for tens of thousands of years. Right. If it wasn't for the Bug Clan mother nest on Earth, he wouldn't be in a rush to return. Looking at the huge beast god statue here and copying it, it was very beneficial for him to grasp the beast god state more clearly. Even though he had used the UNMO planet ship to take many pictures and combine them to form the projection of the huge beast god statue, it was still powerful. However, the extent of his senses was still slightly inferior. My current level is still very low. Copying the huge beast god projection is fine too. Anyway, the true essence can be felt from the small beast god statue. My comprehension speed is only slightly slower than here, about 50% slower. It's still bearable. Luo Feng had no choice. No matter what, he was still a member of the Virtual Universe Company. Right now he was even a supervisor envoy. It was destined that he couldn't stay here for long. First, he might have a mission to carry out. Secondly, it was time to go back and refine the Zerg tribe mother nest. He had paid a huge price for it. Once the Zerg tribe mother nest was successfully refined, it would become his right-hand man. Even Hu Yanba thought that as long as he could control it, the endless sea of Zerg would be able to obstruct that terrifying enemy. In other words, the Sector Lord Bug Clan mother nest was indeed comparable to an extremely powerful Undying, at least in terms of trapping, obstructing, tangling etc., it was extremely effective. Once he nurtured this Zerg race mother nest to immortal rank, he would be able to make a huge comeback and create an immortal rank Zerg warrior army. Just how powerful would that be? Now? Si Fan Chi was shocked. Beside him, Kashnatu said, "Your Majesty Luo Feng, if you have nothing to do, there's no rush. You can take a good look at our Golden Horn race home." "No need, I indeed have something to do, otherwise I wouldn't have stopped studying the huge beast god statue." Luo Feng shook his head. "Your Highness, have you comprehended something?" Si Fanchi asked curiously. "I'm just studying those scales," Luo Feng said. Si Fanchi nodded. "Our Golden Horn race has long discovered the uniqueness of the scales. That beast god statue's scale carvings are causing origin lore ripples, however it's not one that I know of. As long as it's an Undying, they would instantly notice this peculiarity. It's also because of the carvings, that's why it attracted so many experts to train here, even human experts. Look, to your Majesty's left, there are 3 human experts, those 3 are all Emperor-level Undyings." "Ah!" Luo Feng turned to look. The 3 had their auras retracted as they sat cross-legged, and Luo Feng didn't recognize them at all. The Golden Horn race mostly gave off the feeling of stone, that was an internal feeling. And whether it was the space beasts or humans, they all had a feeling of flesh and blood. Maybe there are even stronger humans, however they're probably in the Elder Palace beside. Si Fan Chi explained. "As for those existences, I don't know." "Ha ha!" Luo Feng smiled and nodded. "Alright, I won't say much else. I've been very happy coming to Laseo World this time. I'll remember Elder Si Fan Chi's favor." "Ha ha, it's nothing, it's nothing." Elder Si Fan Chi was the happiest at this time. The only thing one was afraid of giving benefits was meeting an ungrateful person. And right now Luo Feng's words made Elder Si Fan Chi, who had been by Luo Feng's side for close to 200 years, like a young master, always protecting and coaxing Luo Feng, feel extremely happy. "Elder Si Fan Chi." Dylan spoke too. "Then we'll part ways here." Si Fan Chi nodded. "Kashna, we'll meet again in the future." Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the head's son Kashna. We'll meet again in the future." Kashna nodded. Luo Feng and Dylan both smiled. "Let's go," Luo Feng ordered. So. Luo Feng, Dylan and the 5 Sector Lord Guards swiftly rushed into the sky, simultaneously flying high up. Luo Feng swiftly retrieved the Yun Mo planet ship from his internal world, appearing in mid-air. The cabin door automatically opened and Luo Feng and the other 6 flew in. Within the control room of the Yun Mo planet ship, Luo Feng, Dylan and the 5 Sector Lords stood there. Through the external simulation, they could see the Beast God statue below. "Let's go." Huge Beast God statue. Luo Feng gazed down, exclaiming within. Compared to the encounters in the sacred city, the encounters in the Beast God Canyon were even more wondrous. It was even more important to his training path. Studying the Saint Tablet and acquiring the 36 levels of the Evolved God, they were far from comparable to these 182 years, with over 100 million copies, constantly strengthening and solidifying his Beast God conception. This Beast God concept, he already had a very shallow understanding of it when he first started studying it 2 years ago. At that time, the effects were very, very low. At most it would allow the golden horned beast to unleash its tearing skyclaw, and that was it. However now, after 182 years, Luo Feng's control over the beast god's conception could be considered to have a small accomplishment. Maybe compared to the true beast god's mysterious laws, it was only 1/100,000th of its power, but at least the huge statue carved by the golden-horned beast already had a very weak pressure. Yes, pressure. And with the beast god conception infused into the sky-ripping claw, it made the golden-horned beast's sky-ripping claw reach an extremely terrifying level. Right now my gold and space laws comprehension, in terms of power, the beast god conception has already surpassed my origin laws. Luo Feng thought, continue training, the beast god conception will get stronger and stronger, this will eventually be my true trump card. He knew how to use it, but he didn't understand the theory behind it. The beast god statue's wondrous law ripples, Luo Feng didn't understand at all, 100% of it. However, not understanding didn't stop him from using it, at least after a few 100 million copies and the small statue's guidance, Luo Feng had grasped the beast god conception that surpassed his laws in terms of power. Beast god conception. Origin law comprehension. 10,000 souls controlling technique. These 182 years, Luo Feng mainly studied these three aspects. The beast god conception surprised Luo Feng the most, and his improvement speed in the origin laws made him happy too. Sector Lord level comprehension speed was indeed fast. One day was comparable to a domain lord's 1 year. 182 years of comprehension was comparable to tens of thousands of years of domain lord comprehension. And the 10,000 souls controlling techniques training speed was extremely fast. The first level, 3 days. The second level, 1 year. He had just completed the third level on the 182nd year. Actually, compared to normal Sector Lord Pinnacle Spirit Readers that needed over 1,000,000 years to train, Luo Feng spent a short 100 years to train the third level. That was already very powerful. His foundations were extremely solid. It was just that this technique was complicated and profound, spending over 100 years to train it. The moment he trained to the third level, Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. Naturally, he decided to immediately leave and return to Earth. Standing within the control room, Luo Feng gazed down at the beast god statue. Many thoughts flashed through his mind. Shilua Duo, thank you for letting me have the beast god conception. Luo Feng muttered, and thank you Elder Kubu, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have come to Beast God Canyon. Babada, let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Rumble, the UNMO planet ship fiercely accelerated and rushed into the sky, flying towards the skies of Lasheo world, very quickly breaking through the cloud layers and heading towards the space outside Lasheo world, ****** within Beast God Canyon. Elder C. Fan Chi and Kashna looked up, watching as the UNMO planet ship rushed into the sky, disappearing into the depth. He's gone. Kashna said softly. The mission of receiving Luo Feng has been completed. Kashna, let's return to the tribe. Elder C. Fan Chi said. Kashna replied respectfully, yes, teacher. Elder C. Fan Chi waved his hand and Kashna entered the world he brought with him. So, teleportation. Kashna immediately disappeared from Beast God Canyon, simultaneously appearing within the Tawan tribe. On the walls, the rock-gray armored Elder Kubu, who was silently waiting for an opportunity, looked up at the UNMO planet ship disappearing into the depths of the sky, gritting his teeth. This human Luo Feng is a complete madman. Coming to Beast God Canyon, he didn't even go to the Chief Elder Palace, he didn't even meet with the other humans to chat, he just sat there and trained. Si Fan Chi and Dylan were like the automaton race, guarding and not leaving once. Now that he's just finished his training, he immediately took the ship and left. This punk, he's really... How could Elder Kubu not be furious? There were over 100 million bitter trainers in Beast God Canyon, of which a few hundred were sector lords and domain lords under Elder Kubu's control. They were his chess pieces. Many plans had been made long ago, Even Elder Ku Bu was prepared to sacrifice himself. However, he didn't expect Luo Feng would come to train and train. He would leave immediately after he was done. There was no chance at all. Master, the plan to kill the human Luo Feng hasn't been carried out. Elder Ku Bu immediately contacted a Sector Lord clansman under his control, telling him to send an encrypted report through the Virtual Universe Network. The report went through a few rounds in the Virtual Universe Network's endless mail. It didn't stand out at all. Finally, it entered a Star Traveler member's mailbox. That Star Traveler member was a god country living in a space within the desolate universe country's territory. He swiftly reported the news to the upper echelon. P.S. First chapter has arrived. This chapter has officially ended. The 12th chapter is about to begin. Luo Feng left the Golden Horn Race home, returning to the Milky Way. Chapter 681. Milky Way. Within that blue planet's atmosphere, a blood-colored triangular ship swiftly pierced through the atmosphere. With the UNMO planet ship activated, Earth's current security system had no way of detecting it. I'm back. Luo Feng stood within the ship's control room, gazing at the blurry continent beneath the clouds. After the ship pierced through the clouds, he could clearly see the vast land below, cities, roads, etc. Occasionally, he could even see some city ruins from the Grand Nirvana period. Right now, those places were like museums, allowing many youths who hadn't experienced that period to have a good look and experience. Wah! The cabin door opened, Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others and flew out, floating in mid-air, keeping the UNMO planet ship in his internal world. Including the time spent flying in the dark universe, it's been about 183 years since we left Earth. Luo Feng exclaimed. Your Majesty, it hasn't even been 500 years since you were born, hence you feel like it's been a long time. When you step into the Sector Lord level, I'm afraid when you create your own techniques, you'll spend up to 1,000 years. When that time comes, you'll realize that to the strongest of the universe, a few hundred to 1,000 years is indeed a blink of an eye. Dylan smiled. Luo Feng glanced at him speechlessly. 1,000 years, a blink of an eye? He hadn't even lived for 500 years yet. Not even half a blink of an eye. Let's go home, Luo Feng ordered. So. The 7 of them immediately vanished in mid-air, reappearing in the air above Asia continent China's Yangzhou city. Very quickly, they attracted the attention of the 3 Sector Lord Guards stationed within the Luo family's old residence. These 3 Sector Lord Guards were 3 of the 5 Sector Lord Guards that Luo Feng had brought back to Earth. We pay our respects to your highness. The 3 World Overlord Guards soared into the air and knelt on one knee as they bowed. Luo Feng smiled and nodded, after which he entered the old residence. The main AI in charge of defense and security was a subsidiary AI created by Babata. As a living AI, Babata spent a lot of effort to create this subsidiary AI. Even though it wasn't a living being, it was still an extremely high-level AI. Luo Feng's arrival naturally didn't attract any attacks from the main AI. You didn't even tell me when you came back. Su Xin, who was sitting in a quiet ancient courtyard with hundreds of years of history and drinking tea, was shocked to see Luo Feng. After which, her face was filled with joy. Last time, you said you were going to stay in the Gold Horn Race's home world, Laseo, for a long time. I thought it would be 100 years or even 1,000 years. At least you have the heart to come back. Luo Feng laughed along. To be honest, the main reason he had returned was because of the insectoid broodmother. Of course, he couldn't say this or Su Xin would definitely be angry. Won't we meet in the virtual universe too? Luo Feng said. How can that be the same? Su Xin suddenly revealed a trace of a strange smile. Now that you've returned, are you going to hold a clan gathering? Then forget it, Luo Feng said. Family gathering? Oh my god. Compared to the last time Luo Feng returned, the Luo family was much larger. One had to know that in the history of Huaxia, some of the royal families had only been around for 200 or 300 years, and the number of members of the royal family was already in the tens of thousands. When Luo Feng came back last time, there were around 500 male members in the family. The entire family had over 1,000 members, and towards the end, the phenomenon of multiple wives became even more common. Luo Feng stayed on Earth for 50 years. And now another 183 years had passed. The youngest member of the family was already Luo Feng's 26th descendant. Just counting those with the Luo family bloodline, there were at least a few 100,000. Including the wives, it was even larger. Just like the most ruthless Luo Kudi, back then he only had over 100 wives and lovers, and now he had 1,021 wives. As Luo Kudi had many sons, along with the early stages of the family's development, Luo Kudi's branch had some status in the Luo family. Forget it? The head of the family hasn't returned for close to 200 years. Now that he's back, of course he has to hold a clan gathering. Su Xian teased. No choice, there are too many people. Luo Feng laughed helplessly. It's only been close to 500 years and the Luo family's males are already in the hundreds of thousands. I finally understand those ancient families of the universe, with trillions of people, they can even produce a group of sector lords alone. What's so weird about that? Su Xian exclaimed. China's history is like the Three Kingdoms, with wars and wars. How many people did China have then? However, after 1,000 years, it still exceeded 1 billion people. And this is with the land and food restrictions, generation after generation of war restrictions, lifespan restrictions. If we let them develop, in another 100 to 200 years, it's normal for the family's population to exceed 100 million. Luo Feng felt more and more about humanity's ability to reproduce. There was no need to be afraid of the human population, as long as they had enough land, food and living environment. Even if there were only a few dozen men and women at the start, after 100 million years, the population would reach an unimaginable number. Hence, creating a universe country wasn't hard. The hard part was, there wasn't enough territory. Luo Feng returned home to see his family, Wei Wen and a few other good friends. After all, Luo Feng hadn't even been 500 years since he was born, and a star traveler's lifespan could reach 1,000 years, hence many of his friends were still alive. Like Wei Wen, with the resources Luo Feng provided, even if he didn't work too hard, he still reached the star level. As long as there was enough resources to nurture, even a pig could reach the sector lord level. Of course, the resources needed to nurture a pig was probably enough to nurture 1 million sector lord. After staying at home for 2 days, Luo Feng brought Dylan to Shen Nongjia. Shen Nongjia, there was an ancient castle that took up an area of close to 10 kilometers. Although it was called an ancient castle, in terms of size, it could easily be called a city. So, Luo Feng and Dylan immediately appeared in front of the ancient castle. Ancient castle. Luo Feng looked at the ancient castle before him. The walls had traces of time on them. There were all sorts of plants crawling all over. On top of the castle walls one could occasionally see silhouettes. That formless energy was very strong. They were all universe levels. The ones in charge of guarding the castle right now was a universe-level slave army. Rumble. The entrance of the castle opened. 4 people walked out. Behind them followed a group of universe-level slave guards. Greetings, Master. Greetings, Your Majesty. The 4 bowed respectfully. The slave guards all knelt down. Di Fan, Bai Kaluo and the 2 sector lord captains, it's been hard on you. Luo Feng said. This place was Di Fan and Bai Kaluo's main responsibility, the 2 sector lord guards supporting them. Ah. Luo Feng looked shocked at Di Fan. Di Fan, you've broken through to the sector lord level? With the guidance of the 2 seniors, one day when I was watching the space in the Shen Nongjia mountain range, I accidentally broke through. The bald Di Fan said respectfully. Di Fan and Bai Kaluo, back then when he took them in as soul slaves, Back then Luo Feng, who only knew the slave soul imprint, the number of soul slaves he could control was extremely few. Even with Hu Yenbo's strength, he could only control 9 undying slaves. One could see their numbers were few and far between. And back then Luo Feng still chose Di Fan and Bai Kaluo. It was because he saw their potential. Di Fan, born a slave, he had suffered a lot, even without good resources. He still reached universe level 9. Bai Kaluo, he was even more talented than his teacher Nulan Shan. After following Luo Feng, they easily broke through to the Domain Lord level, Luo Feng's nutrition cabin. Even though it wasn't as good as the virtual universe companies, in a short few decades, they all reached Domain Lord level 9. From Domain Lord level 1 to level 9, the amount of nutrition required wasn't much of a problem for Luo Feng. As for the Sector Lord level, Luo Feng couldn't do that. Di Fan and Bai Kaluo, who had long stepped into Domain Lord level 9, because the last time Luo Feng left behind 5 Sector Lord guards, the two could ask for guidance from these 5 Sector Lord pinnacle warriors. Di Fan, however, was one step ahead of Bai Kaluo, stepping into the Sector Lord level. And with your Majesty's techniques and many resources, this is much easier than when I was a slave back when I first reached Universe level 9. Di Fan said. Luo Feng smiled. Work hard. Luo Feng encouraged. Bai Kaluo, you have to follow too. Yes, master. Bai Kaluo bowed. These 2 soul slaves. His original plan was to invest a large amount of resources to nurture them and bring them along with him in battle. However, as he was training in the 10,000 soul control technique, he could control a large number of soul slaves, and with the Bug Clan Mother Nest as his helper, Luo Feng's sights were set high. Normal Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors were useless in bringing them along. The plan now was continue to nurture Bai Kaluo and Di Fan. After all, they were soul slaves, they were absolutely loyal. Let the 2 of them protect the Luo family well. Chatting with Bai Kaluo and Di Fan as they walked, very quickly they arrived at the most dangerous part of the castle. Luo Feng held onto the railing and looked down at the huge round ball. It had a diameter of over 800 m and was shockingly huge. On its surface, there were some pits with poison flowing within. The poison gas emanated, even the Bug Clan Mother Nest seemed blurry and blurry. The poison gas was like a cloud that revolved around it, making the universe-level guards not dare to get close. Bug Clan Mother Nest. Dylan too stared. This Bug Clan Mother Nest was definitely a huge treasure. So, Luo Feng's thoughts moved, immediately sweeping the slumbering Bug Clan Mother Nest into his internal world, immediately revealing a huge crater, along with some poison gas around it. This castle can be abandoned. Luo Feng ordered. Di Fan, Bai Kaluo, the 2 of you return to the Luo family and meet Su Exan. Wait for her arrangements. Yes, master. Di Fan and Bai Kaluo replied respectfully. So. The 2 immediately became beams of light and vanished. You 2 Sector Lord guards follow me. Luo Feng ordered. As for the slave army, continue to wait in the castle, wait for my arrangements. Yes, master. The slave army replied in unison, their voices shaking the land and skies. The 2 Sector Lord guards too replied respectfully. Luo Feng didn't stay any longer, immediately bringing Dylan and the 2 Sector Lord guards and flying towards Yangzhou City. Since he had already absorbed the Bug Clan Mother Nest into his internal world, and he had already trained the 10,000 soul control technique to the 3rd level, Luo Feng naturally couldn't wait. He decided to immediately return home and go into closed-door training, putting in all his effort, quickly controlling the Bug Clan Mother Queen within. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived. Tomato will continue writing the 3rd. Chapter 682. Luo Clan Villa. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others back home and immediately went into closed-door training, giving the order that if there wasn't anything important, no one was to disturb him. Within the dark study room, the fluorescent light shone on the alloy floor reflecting a cold light. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged on the floor, his back straight and his eyes closed, his consciousness completely entering the golden-horned beast within his internal world. Internal world. In a vast grass plain in the central continent, a completely black huge golden-horned beast stood on all fours. Its body length alone was over 600 kilometers, standing on all fours from its claws to its back. It was over 400 kilometers tall, that pair of scaled wings. The moment it opened, it covered an area of over 1,000 kilometers. This golden-horned beast, even if it stood on Earth's surface, its back would be in space. 400 kilometers tall, if one counted from its claws to its head, it would be even higher. The highest mountain on Earth was only over 8,000 m, and that was just the height. Compared to that, any horn on the golden-horned beast's head was far higher than the highest mountain on Earth. And in terms of body length, the length of its body and that scaled tail that was also over 600 kilometers long as the golden-horned beast rolled a few times on Asia continent, the entire continent would be flattened. The entire continent could sink. This was a true mature space beast, a Sector Lord Level 6 golden-horned beast. Its internal world was already over 60 million kilometers in diameter. What a vast world it was. When a space beast was a Sector Lord level, its normal devouring evolution from Level 1 to Level 3 required 1,500 years. From Level 3 to Level 6, it required 6,000 years. From Level 6 to Level 9, it required 36,000 years. As Luo Feng had prepared the best metals, the efficiency was raised by 50 times. Originally it needed 7,500 years to reach Sector Lord Level 6, but now it only took 150 years. Obviously, Luo Feng's time in Laosi World exceeded that, hence right now the golden-horned beast and Masha clansmen were both Sector Lord Level 6. The earlier levels were fast, the later levels 7, 8 and 9 were much slower. Even with the 50 times efficiency, each level still required 240 years. Even though I'm only Sector Lord Level 6, in terms of soul consciousness, it's comparable to a normal human Sector Lord Level 8 or 9. Along with my extremely strong willpower control, I'm already no weaker than a human Sector Lord Pinnacle. Luo Feng thought, along with the 3,200 plus spirit energy amplitude advantage. When using the myriad hearts controlling secret art, even ordinary peak stage world overlords aren't as strong as me. This time I'll definitely succeed. I'll turn this insect queen into my sole slave. The black-clothed Luo Feng floated in mid-air, beside the golden-horned beast that was as large as a small planet. He looked at the 800 m diameter round bug clan mother nest. Its entire body was filled with pits, venom flowing and poisonous gas emanating, causing the surrounding grass to rot and the ground to cave in from the corrosion. Begin. Black-clothed Luo Feng immediately landed, sitting crossed-legged on the grass without moving, his consciousness completely entering the golden-horned beast's body. At this moment, the Earth-human body and the Masha clansmen both transferred their consciousness to the golden-horned beast, allowing the golden-horned beast to have its strongest and most complete power. Chi-Chi, with its thick and powerful 4 hooves, the golden-horned beast looked down at the bug clan mother nest, simultaneously controlling a thread of world energy to seep in. The moment it seeped in, it was clear that the bug clan mother nest was really like a beehive. Within were many densely packed holes. It should be a place to nurture large amounts of bug clan warriors. In the core region of the mother nest, there was an empty space with a diameter of about 100 m. Within this space there was a life form sleeping. Her entire body was white and translucent, as if her delicate body was condensed from crystals. She was about 12 meters tall and had a pair of butterfly-like wings. The wings wrapped around her delicate body like a thin layer of gauze. Her curvaceous body could be said to be a creation of the heavens and earth. Even though she was in a deep sleep, her brows were still slightly furrowed, making one's heart ache. This was the Bug Clan Queen. The true members of the Bug Clan were formed by these Bug Clan Queens. their power shook the universe, becoming one of the pinnacle races. Even with the human race's many strong warriors, they were still evenly matched. Bug Clan Queen, in terms of body proportions, it's simply flawless. Even in deep sleep, that natural allure is still unbelievable. The world energy swept through this absolute beauty of the Bug Clan Queen's delicate body, immediately seeping into her body and beginning to probe where her soul was. The world energy became nothing and seeped into the Bug Clan Queen's body. The moment it seeped in, Luo Feng was shocked. The Bug Clan Queen's body was crystal clear, almost like it was formed from countless energy beams. Within her body were many channels. Simultaneously there were a total of 10,000 light balls. These 10,000 light balls were similar to a normal sector lord's soul. The origin pearls, however, as their life forms were completely different, the Bug Clan Queen had 10,000 soul sources. Moreover, these 10,000 light spheres had countless energy rays between them, forming a mysterious and unfathomable network. A formless, alluring energy began to emanate. What a mysterious body structure! It feels very similar to the nameless manual I got from the black metal board. The universe network within my body is very similar. Luo Feng was shocked. However, the difference between the two was still very obvious. The nameless manual mimicked the universe's operation. This, however, was in a different direction. This was a peculiar life form born from the evolution of the universe, a peculiar structure. To control it, one has to control all the soul sources. No wonder my teacher couldn't control it back then. However, my teacher's attainments in the soul are extremely strong. At least this Bug Clan Queen has been in deep sleep. Shem, begin. The golden-horned beast looked down at the mother nest. At the same time, the world energy within it began to swiftly unleash the third level of the 10,000 hearts controlling technique. Immediately, the formless world energy swiftly combined into strange threads, countless threads intertwined, swiftly forming a golden blood-colored net. So, the blood-colored soul net immediately flew out of the golden-horned beast's body and swiftly tunneled into the huge ball, entering the Bug Clan Queen's body. The formless net spread out, entering the light balls one after another. Immediately, the originally resplendent light net was enveloped in a layer of blood light. Countless blood-colored threads seeped into every soul source. The Bug Clan Queen didn't resist at all. After all, she was in deep sleep. Still all right. Soon. It must succeed. The golden-horned beast used all of its strength to control the soul net to invade. Countless threads seeped in. However, as it went deeper and deeper, the originally sleeping Bug Clan Queen was truly awakened. As it seeped in too deep, naturally it broke Hu Yen Bo's technique from back then. And when the soul was truly in danger, the Bug Clan Queen woke up and immediately began to struggle. She's awake. I must succeed in one battle. At the crucial moment, the golden-horned beast that had already unleashed its 3,200 spirit energy amplifier immediately roared. The 5 black horns on its forehead with golden engravings all lit up, simultaneously covering its entire body. Natural ability. Strengthen. Rumble. The soul slave net's penetration ability grew stronger, its control even stronger. Succeed. Luo Feng gave it his all, his willpower and consciousness going all out. Ah! The Bug Clan Queen let out a shrill cry of pain. Her eyes opened, revealing a pair of jade blue eyes, only now her gaze was terrifying. After which it gradually calmed down. The ferocious expression from before became calm and gentle. Her jade blue eyes were like a pool of jade water. His consciousness split into 3, returning to his body. Within the internal world on the grass plains, the black-clothed demon Luo Feng stood before the Bug Clan mother nest. The black-clothed demon Luo Feng constantly grew larger and larger. In an instant he had become a 12 m tall giant. So, like a gust of wind, that weak silhouette flew out from a hole in the poison gas-filled mother nest, after which she floated and landed on the grass plains, those butterfly-like wings gently flapping in the wind. A pair of captivating jade blue eyes stared passionately at Luo Feng before her, almost as though he was her most beloved lover. Her face was naturally covered in mist, looking blurry. "Master." A gentle voice that seemed to penetrate into one's heart resounded. The Bug Clan Queen slightly bowed. To be able to create trillions of ugly bug soldiers, the Bug Clan Queen is actually so gentle and beautiful. Without prior knowledge, how many people would have guessed? Black-clothed Luo Feng sighed within, simultaneously saying, "Bug Clan Queen, do you have a name?" "Master, I'm called Alina," the Bug Clan Queen said. "Hm." Luo Feng nodded. "From now on I'll call you Alina. You're already at the Sector Lord pinnacle. If you want to let you reach the undying level, do you need any help?" "Undying?" Alina's eyes gleamed, smiling gently. "Master, firstly my origin laws haven't reached the threshold to become undying. As for the resources I need, wait till my origin laws reach the threshold, then Master can provide the resources. Normal Emperor-level undyings should be able to provide enough resources. Anyway, for our Bug Clan to reach undying, at least out of the countless races I know, it's the hardest." Luo Feng was helpless. "If Master wants to help me, then provide me with enough resources. Let me nurture bug soldiers." Alina said softly, "With enough bug soldiers, I'll be able to fight for Master. From what I know, there are many types of bug soldiers." Luo Feng said. "There are many." Alina felt wronged. "However, during my growth, I've already chosen the 3 main types. I'm most proficient in these 3. If I want to change the types, I'll have to pay a huge price. If Master really wants to change, that's fine too. Also, there are 2 main ways to nurture insectoid warriors." "Which 2 cultivation models?" The black-clothed Luo Feng looked at the lovable Irina. "Also, which 3 types of bug soldiers are you proficient in?" After completing 3 chapters, the 12th chapter, Venerable's Punishment, officially began. For the start of a new chapter, for Luo Feng to have the Bug Clan Mother Nest, everyone throw in your votes. Monthly votes. Recommendation votes. I love tomatoes. Chapter 683. The Queen Mother Alina said softly, "I specialize in nurturing 3 types of bug soldiers. The first is the beetle bug race with extremely strong strength, the tiger beetle race. If we were to divide it further, it's a branch of the tiger beetle race called the yen tan bug race. The tiger beetle race has one thing in common with the beetle race: their strong defense. And the tiger beetle race is famed for their strength. They're definitely the most outstanding bug soldiers in a siege. A group of tiger beetle warriors forming a camp is the hardest to break through. And the moment the tiger beetle warriors form an endless sea of bugs, they're the most terrifying." Luo Feng nodded as he heard. He himself knew the bug race could be divided according to their abilities into probing, siege, assassin, long range, etc. This tiger beetle race was obviously the siege type. It was similar to the heavy cavalry of the army. There are indeed many types of bug races. Luo Feng sighed within. The beetle race could be divided into tens of smaller groups, and every group could be divided into tens to thousands of smaller groups. "Master, look, this is the tiger beetle race." The Queen Mother Alina pointed at the grass patch beside. "Who?" A creature that was over 10 stories tall, 30 m, appeared out of thin air. It was extremely thick and sturdy. Its entire body was covered in an incredibly thick carapace. On its head was an oval compound eye. It was completely protected by the carapace. Its head was almost like a warrior wearing a helmet. It was completely protected. On its chest, there were even sharp spikes. Its thick and powerful curved back limbs supported its body. The entire tiger beetle race gave off a very thick and sturdy feeling. Ferocious. It was like a tank, its entire body emitting a fierce and valiant aura. Its carapace was completely fiery red, and even its protected compound eyes were also fiery red. "This is a Sector Lord Pinnacle Tiger Beetle race," the Queen Mother Alina introduced. "Sector Lord Pinnacle?" Luo Feng was pleasantly surprised as he looked at this huge creature that was at least 10 stories tall. That's because the countless bug tribe warriors that our bug tribe has nurtured rely on numbers. Therefore, it's destined that they won't be too big. Queen Alina seemed to have seen the shockingly huge golden horned beast in the distance, hence she explained, the bigger the size and the need for defense etc., the more resources it requires. Just like the master of the golden horned beast with such a huge size, even if he created a Sector Lord bug army, he wouldn't be able to create such a huge army. Luo Feng laughed too. How big was the insectoid hive? At least Alina's mother nest had a diameter of over 800 m. Even when he led the universe army to kill the 2 Undyings, the Undying level mother nest he met was only 10 kilometers in height. The brood mother was only this big, so how big could the insectoid warriors be? From head to tail, the golden horned beast's length was over 1,200 kilometers. Irina, you have Sector Lord bug soldiers? Luo Feng asked. Yes. Queen Mother Irina nodded. How much? Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Not much. Queen Irina shook her head. After the war in the alien battlefields, under the threat of life and death, my insectoid warriors were almost all used up. Right now I'm only left with 11 Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors. As for the other lower-leveled ones, they're all gone. These last 11 were meant to protect me at the last moment, who knew they would be hit by the human Undying's soul technique. They didn't even have the time to summon the warriors before falling into a deep slumber. The bug tribe queen, Sector Lord level, already had her own internal world. Hence the huge amount of insectoid army could be stored in the internal world, accumulating numbers during normal times and summoning them out during battles. Luo Feng nodded. What about the second type of warrior you can nurture? The second type belongs to the shadowy insect clan of the shadowy insect clan. In detail, it can be divided into a branch of the shadowy insect clan called the Nasta insect clan. It's a legendary insect clan that once gave birth to the true super-existence of our insect clan, Nasta, Queen Mother Irina said with a sigh. Luo Feng nodded. The bug clan was a little harsh, the only true life form was the queen. The countless other bug warriors that were created couldn't even be considered life forms, they were just battle tools. However, these incredibly simple consciousness bug warriors, it wasn't as if they had no chance of evolving. The fair universe didn't cut off their hope of evolving. Nasta was one of the countless bug tribe warriors. He was originally a muddle-headed bug tribe warrior, but when he was summoned by the Queen Mother to battle, he swallowed some kind of special treasure and evolved, gaining his own will. Within the entire bug clan, there were actually quite a few who didn't have their own consciousness. However, those that became absolute beings were extremely few. Nasta was one of them. The Blade Shadowbug clan has something in common with the other Shadowbug clans. Their speed is extremely fast. They have shocking speed, fast like a shadow, their attacks are extremely strong too. Their only weakness is, their bodies are weaker. Queen Irina explained, fast speed, strong attacks, weak bodies, this is the Blade Shadowbug clan. Master, the Blade Shadowbug clan, I don't have any in my internal world. Back then in the alien battlefields they were all used up. Its appearance, compared to the Tiger Shell Bug clan, is much smaller and skinnier. Its shell isn't fiery red, but dark gray. Queen Irina explained. Luo Feng nodded. One to attack, one to scout. If the Tiger Shell Bug clan was a heavy cavalry, then the Blade Shadowbug clan was a light cavalry. The last one belongs to the largest bug clan, the Mantis Bug clan, one of the strongest, the Hunting Mantis Bug clan. The Hunting Mantis Bug I created belongs to a branch of the Hunting Mantis Bug clan, the True Clan. Queen Irina said, the Hunting Mantis Bug clan is the strongest of the 3 I specialize in creating. It has a powerful body, shocking speed, shocking defense, and incomparably agile dodging abilities, along with an innate high level of battle technique. Queen Irina's voice rose slightly. creating one hunting mantis bug clan can roughly create 5 blade shadow bugs or 2 tiger shell bugs of the same level. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed as he heard. Hunting mantis? This Queen Irina was actually able to create hunting mantis. This was an unexpected surprise. Even within the inherited memories of the golden horned beast, there was a detailed description of the hunting mantis. The mantis bug clan was the largest bug clan, the carapace bug clan was second only to the mantis bug clan. And out of the 7 most outstanding mantis bugs, the hunting mantis was one of them. The 7 extreme mantis bugs all had their own strengths. The hunting mantis was known for its craftiness. Master, this is a Sector Lord Pinnacle hunting mantis. I only have 11 Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldiers left. 8 of them are from the hunting mantis bug clan. Queen Irina said. Obviously the hunting mantis bug clan was the one she had the most confidence in, hence she left the most. She pointed to the grassy plains beside. Immediately a huge being appeared. It was about 24 m tall. Slimmer than the tiger shell bug clan, more valiant than the shadow edge bug clan, its entire body was covered in a layer of black streamlined scales. The complex black scales had green markings on them, giving the entire hunting mantis bug clan an extra sense of mystery. It had a thick and sturdy lower limbs, and 2 battle blade-like front limbs. The edges of the front limbs even had sharp claws. A pair of compound eyes protruded. On its head, there were even 2 sharp horns sticking out, its mouth occasionally opened, revealing a dense cluster of sharp teeth. This was a pure battle machine. Its body structure gave it absolute defense, absolute agility and speed. Along with those 2 front limbs, it could be said to be a killing machine. And that incomparably dense scale armor was even more advanced than the tiger shell bug clan. Even though it was slimmer than the tiger shell bug clan, its defense wasn't any weaker than the tiger shell bug clan. Master, the tiger shell bug clan, shadow edge bug clan and hunting mantis bug clan, these are the 3 bug clan warriors I've been researching and most proficient in. The Queen Irina looked at Luo Feng. Of course, if a few lower-level bug clans like the green mantis can be easily mass-produced, then there's no need to research at all, there's no difficulty at all. Any bug clan queen can produce those lower-level bug clans. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Very good. These 3 bug clans were all considered the elite of the bug clan, and the hunting mantis bug clan was even more so the elite of the elite. When can you start producing bug clan warriors? Luo Feng asked. I can start at any time. The Queen Irina smiled. The tiger shell and hunting mantis warriors stood behind her, incomparably respectful. However, there are 2 ways to produce bug soldiers. I'll tell Master, it's up to you to choose. Luo Feng listened carefully. The first, large-scale production of the weaker hunting mantis, tiger shell and shadow edge bug clans. The Queen Irina said, producing some star-level and universe-level warriors is extremely easy, we can mass-produce them. After which, let them kill each other internally, devour each other, the weak die, the strong live, the strong devour the weak to become even stronger. When a large group of bug soldiers are all killed and only one is left, that one will be the most exceptional. We can definitely produce an incomparably powerful Sector Lord Pinnacle bug clan. Luo Feng was shocked. Let countless star levels and universe levels devour each other? Only one left? The bug soldiers aren't all the same, some have higher potential, some have less. The Queen Irina explained. This method eliminates all those with lower potential, and the Pinnacle bug clan that has been through endless slaughter are 10 times stronger than normal Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldiers. They can be called the kings. The second is the normal method of production. The Queen Irina said, if I want to produce a Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldier, then I'll need enough resources. I'll directly produce a Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldier. This kind of direct production method is fast, the energy usage is extremely high, after all it's done by me, there won't be any waste in the resources. However, even though the potential isn't bad, it definitely won't be as terrifying as going through 10 million battles and devouring countless bug soldiers. Luo Feng pondered as he listened. The two methods of production were indeed interesting. What's the ratio of energy and resources? Luo Feng asked. The second normal production method uses the least amount of energy. And the first method is to let them devour and absorb by themselves. The absorption efficiency is low, and they will lose large amounts of energy in battle. Hence, the ratio is about 100 times different. Producing one king bug clan can produce 100 of the same level bug soldiers. The Queen Irina explained, Master, how do you want to produce the bug soldiers? Please choose the method. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 684. Which method would he use to nurture the bug soldiers? The black-clothed Luo Feng smiled. Actually, after hearing the Queen Alina's detailed explanation of the three types of bug soldiers, he naturally had a decision within. I've trained in the 10,000 soul controlling technique to control a bug clan queen, all for the sake of having a bug army. Luo Feng thought, the bug clan is most famous for the bug sea tactic, and not the elite tactic. Maybe I can nurture a few emperor bug soldiers, however the majority of the resources would still be used for the normal large-scale nurturing of bug soldiers. Nurturing one emperor bug soldier was equivalent to nurturing 100 bug soldiers. No matter how strong they were, 100 Emperor Sector Lord bug soldiers against 10,000 Sector Lord bug soldiers. In a group battle, there was no doubt that the 10,000 Sector Lord army would emerge victorious. And in a one-on-one battle, maybe one Emperor Sector Lord bug soldier could take them down one by one, killing quite a few of the other bug soldiers. However, in a group battle, it relied on numbers. The main thing is the second normal method of nurturing. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, Master, Queen Mother Irina replied gently. Tell me the resources required to nurture the Shadow Edge Bug Clan, Tiger Shell Bug Clan and Hunting Mantis Bug Clan. Luo Feng said. No matter what, he had to know the most basic cost. There are many ways to nurture the bug soldiers, however there are three main ways. Queen Mother Irina smiled. The first method is the simplest. You can directly use the universe crystals. The universe crystals are formed from the power of the world, and the power of the world can form any substance. Therefore, you can use the universe crystals to create any kind of insectoid warrior you want. However, universe crystals have many uses, hence using universe crystals, the price is extremely high. The second is to gather large amounts of metal and alloy remains, some warriors or huge beasts' blood, some gelatinous materials like scales, skin, tendons, etc. With these large amounts of materials we can also nurture bug soldiers. As we can choose from many cheaper materials, the cost will be much cheaper. The third is to gather large amounts of bug corpses. These corpses can be directly used to create large amounts of bug soldiers. The Queen Alina smiled. Without a doubt, the first method has the highest price, the second is the lowest, the third method's price will depend on the price master buys the bug corpses. According to what I know, there are people in the 1008 universe countries who buy them as collectibles. The price is simply too high. If he could directly obtain countless insectoid corpses from the foreign battlefields, the price might be much lower. As for how much it will cost, it will depend on master's ability. Luo Feng nodded. Of the three, the first was the simplest. With the supply of universe crystals, an endless supply of energy could be used to create an endless supply of Zerg warriors. The simplest also represented the most expensive. Tell me the price, Luo Feng asked. If we were to use universe crystals, how much money would it take to nurture a Sector Lord Pinnacle Shadow Edge Bug Clan, a Tiger Shell Bug Clan and a Hunting Mantis Bug Clan? A Sector Lord Pinnacle Shadow Edge Bug Race, the universe crystals they need are about 10 mixed elements. Queen Irina said, a Sector Lord Peak Tiger Beetle species needs 25 mixed element units, a Mantis Beetle species needs 50 mixed element units. This was a more accurate figure. If you want to create a king, the price will be 100 times higher. Luo Feng took in a deep breath. Oh my God! To create a king hunting mantis king, Sector Lord Peak, that would require 5,000 mixed elements units. That was enough to make an undying general go bankrupt. The Bug Clan Mother Nest really isn't something normal people can afford to play with. Just buying a Sector Lord Mother Nest, the auction price is already over 1 million mixed elements. And the technique to control the Mother Nest, the price is just as ridiculous. Even if you have the money, unless you're a core member of a superpower, you won't even be able to buy it. Luo Feng sighed. Just the initial investment alone would be a few million mixed elements. And to nurture large amounts of Zerg warriors without a foundation, it really wouldn't be enough. Hunting Mantis King? One for 5,000 mixed elements. Even though it's extremely powerful, many Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors aren't its match. The price is too high. Luo Feng thought, whether or not to create one. I'll think about it in the future. To create the cheapest Shadow Edge Bug Clan, 10 mixed elements for 100,000 of them, that would be 1 million mixed elements. Too expensive. Luo Feng shook his head. He still had over 2 million mixed elements left in the bank. This was his teacher's inheritance. He had been spending it, yet he had no income. Once this wealth was used up, then he wouldn't have anything to play with anymore. My initial plan was to create a 1 million Sector Lord army. The moment it appears, I'll go on a killing spree, even Emperor-level Undyings. As long as they don't have teleportation or time-stopping abilities, they won't be able to do anything to me. Luo Feng thought. Emperor-level Undyings too had their own levels. If he really managed to create a 1 million Sector Lord army, then he would really have an ultimate trump card. Its power wouldn't be any weaker than an Emperor-level Undying. Alina. Luo Feng said. Master. The Mother Alina's jade blue eyes were gentle like water as she looked at Luo Feng. Using the metal remains, blood, glue, and the Bug Clan corpses, the general data needed to create the Zerg warriors, it's all recorded in this quantum computer. Do you know how to use it? Luo Feng looked at Alina, flipping his hand, and a quantum computer appeared. Master, I have a quantum computer. The Mother Alina smiled. Master, please wait a moment, I'll immediately give you the detailed data needed to nurture the Zerg warriors. Yangzhou City, Luo family's old house. Luo Feng sat on a bamboo chair. Beside him was a tea table with a teapot and a few teacups. To create a 1 million Sector Lord army, it really isn't easy. The moment he left the study, Luo Feng sat alone in deep thought. Babata, how's your research on the internet going? I'm still researching, because there are simply too many ways to buy the materials, different methods have different prices, and the materials we're buying, in terms of size, is the size of a star as the amount is huge, hence if the price is slightly different, the total price difference will be huge. I have to find the best discount. Babata said. And there are simply too many ways to sell the materials in the universe. Give me some time, give me 6 hours, and I should be able to settle it. Luo Feng nodded. This sort of calculation, the living AI Babata was definitely stronger than him. Big brother! A surprised voice resounded. Luo Feng looked up. In the distant walkway his little brother Luo Hua's face was filled with surprise. Hua! Luo Feng waved. Big brother, weren't you in closed-door training? You've come out so quickly? Luo Hua walked over, waving casually. A chair in the distance immediately flew over, landing beside him. Luo Hua sat down and poured himself a cup of tea, smiling as he asked, This training hasn't even lasted a day. It doesn't seem like your style at all. I thought it would take 10 to 100 years. Luo Feng smiled. This time he was going to subdue the Bug Clan Queen, not to train. Of course it was fast. Right, big brother. Regarding the financial investments, I have to report to you. Luo Hua smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Back then, when he didn't have much wealth, because of his brother's extremely high financial investment talent, Luo Feng decided back then that he would give a portion of his wealth to his brother to invest. One was to give his brother a lot of room to grow, too was to get a huge return. However, as Luo Hua controlled more and more wealth, to get a high return, it became harder and harder. 200 years ago, when he returned to Earth, Luo Feng had just received his teacher's inheritance. After returning home and chatting with his brother, he gave a small portion of it, 500,000 mixed elements, to his brother to operate. This 500,000 mixed elements, Luo Feng could still afford to lose it. After all, it was given to his brother. Back then Luo Hua said, "Big brother, with 500,000 mixed elements, the amount of wealth I can control will immediately soar by 2 levels. I already have the qualifications to enter the universe human financial market to invest." The universe human financial market was the highest scale financial market in the 1008 universe countries. To be able to participate in this financial market, one had to have at least 100,000 mixed elements. Hence, to be able to participate, if it wasn't a huge power, then it was a powerful being. Actually, this highest level financial market was originally meant to absorb large amounts of wealth and use it to fuel the race wars. It was used to hire undyings to venture into universe secret regions, etc. There was a lot of business. However, since it was a financial market, naturally there would be many different types of trading methods. The entire universe human races most talented in terms of investment gathered in this market. The amount of wealth they controlled was terrifying. Maybe some emperor-level undyings who had good relationships with each other would entrust themselves to certain geniuses to manage. And this market, it was filled with huge waves and huge crocodiles. Even an emperor-level undying's entire wealth, in this human financial market, was considered a small fry. Hence the requirements were ridiculously high. Normal undyings didn't even have the qualifications to enter this market. The threshold of 100,000 mixed elements was very normal. To Luo Hua, this financial market was shockingly attractive. As the amount of wealth involved in this market was huge, losing even 10% or 20% would be a huge loss. Warriors being eaten, geniuses being eaten. Only the true crocodiles, absolute geniuses, could earn money. Luo Hua had long desired to enter this financial market. If a financial investor didn't enter this market, that meant he hadn't truly entered the industry. "Big brother, when you returned to Earth the last time, you gave me 500,000 mixed elements to operate." Luo Hua laughed. "Even though I've secretly simulated it many times, only when I actually invested the funds to operate, did I truly feel how terrifying it is." "Terrifying?" Luo Feng was shocked. Luo Hua nodded, "Because I'm careful and cautious. Even though I used 500,000 mixed elements to apply for an investment account, the first time I only invested 10,000 mixed elements. At the start I made a bit of profit. I increased my investment to 50,000 mixed elements. However, after that I started to lose money. Because of my confidence, I continued to increase my investment." P.S. Chapter 2 here. Chapter 685. Luo Hua raised his teacup and drank half of it, exclaiming, "Even though it was a loss, my faith was firm and I followed my investment system's logic. Unknowingly, I invested all 500,000 mixed elements. Who would have thought I was too confident?" Luo Feng felt a knot in his heart as he heard 500,000 mixed elements. His brother's losses couldn't be that ridiculous, right? Luckily, I've never used the funds as leverage, nor have I raised funds to obtain leverage. I've always used my capital. And as it's my first time entering the market, I've chosen 20% of the best projects from the Virtual Universe Company and Battle Axe Dojo. Casting my net wide can guarantee my safety." Luo Hua said, "After all, if I were to invest in an undying group alone, I might enter a universe secret region once, but if that group is destroyed, I'll go bankrupt." Luo Feng nodded. He understood a little. This was considered sharing the risks and rewards of a project. Casting my net wide, and investing in the best projects from the Virtual Universe Company and Battle Axe Dojo, those projects will all be destroyed, unless the entire human race is destroyed. Luo Hua smiled. This strategy is very safe, however, it won't earn much. After 120 years of investing, my highest return is 2.3%, my assets reaching 102.3% of my capital, the lowest is 91.6%. Other than earning at the start, I've always been losing money, my capital rarely exceeds 98%. I've chatted with Hong once, it was just about Earth's future, but it made me think about investing, I had some enlightenment. Luo Hua smiled. From the 122nd year of investing, I began to change my strategy. My original strategy was wrong. Because, choosing the best projects, casting my net wide, this is the most conservative and simple method. Maybe in terms of investment timing, there are many techniques. However, to be able to enter humanity's highest financial markets, their techniques have probably all reached a perfect level. After all, I've trained my techniques for over 100 years, they've probably reached their peak. What's more tested is strategy, thinking, and the occasional sudden decision. Luo Hua smiled. Luo Feng rubbed his head, saying softly, Hua, your words are really complicated. Before, when you said choosing the best projects and casting your net wide, I thought it was pretty good too. However, now, it's become a very stupid method. It's not stupid. This method is very safe, and as long as the timing is good, you can still earn. For example, earning 5% in one era is already very good. Luo Hua shook his head. But I'm different. I've lived for less than 500 years. I really can't stand this lifeless investment method. I can tolerate it for a year or 5 years, but I can't stand it for 20 or 30 years. So give up on this strategy. The change in strategy is slightly radical, but it suits my character very well. Luo Hua smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. What suits me is the best. I'm like a fish in water. In these 100 years, it went from 96.2% of the capital to 118.1%. Just a while ago, I sold my investments, so I'm at 116.2% of the capital, which is about 581,000 mixed elements. From 500,000 to 581,000 mixed element. There were many twists and turns along the way. Fortunately, the transaction was completed. Just now, a team under one of my projects suffered quite a bit in the foreign battlefields, causing the project's price to plummet by 60%. If I hadn't done so, I'm afraid I would have lost more than 30,000 mixed element unit. Luo Hua sighed. Luo Feng listened with bated breath. Her brother had said so much, so it was easy for her to understand. If one wanted to earn huge profits and used leverage, no matter how much money one had, it would be gone in a short period of time. Even if one didn't use leverage, if all the funds were invested in one or two projects, the moment the project failed, the funds would be gone. All the money would be lost. Of course, the moment the leverage was used, the profits would be extremely high too. Like Luo Hua, if he used 5 times leverage, his current assets would be 900,000 mixed element. And for a single project, if the undyings of the project acquired large amounts of treasures in a secret region, it would cause the project's price to rise by 2 to 3 times. There was a possibility that the project would fail. The huge profits were a form of temptation. Only by withstanding the temptation would one be able to survive longer in humanity's financial market. Even if one's mental state and standard is good enough, some superpowers may set trap. If one isn't careful and falls for it, it'll be over. Luo Hua's eyes gleamed. This feeling, indeed, makes one's blood boil. Hua. Luo Feng sighed. HM? Luo Hua put down his teacup. 200 years, you've earned 81,000 mixed elements these 200 years. I haven't earned anything at all, instead I've spent a lot. Luo Feng exclaimed, these 81,000 mixed elements, you've earned about 1/5 of the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. The main thing is that you've given me enough capital. If I didn't have the capital, I wouldn't have earned much, and I wouldn't even have the qualifications to participate. Luo Hua's eyes gleamed. Big brother, don't worry, after experiencing a series of small setbacks, I've truly assimilated into the market. I can't guarantee that I won't lose anything, I can only guarantee that I won't lose more than 20%, and there's no cap on the profit. No cap? You sure are confident. Luo Feng laughed. It's possible. Luo Hua nodded. It's possible to increase it by 2 to 3 times, it all depends on my patience, opportunities and judgment. Luo Feng laughed, then I'll be waiting. My 200 years of investment, the Virtual Universe Company is very clear on it, they even specially sent someone to invite me to handle the 10 million mixed elements funds, they were even willing to send a team of guards to protect my safety. Luo Hua shook his head, however I rejected, feeling that I'm not mature enough. Luo Feng was shocked. Over 10 million mixed elements, that was the wealth of an official level undying. To the Virtual Universe Company, it was indeed a drop in the ocean, however obviously the company's invitation meant that they had high hopes for Luo Hua. Actually Luo Feng didn't understand at all, to be able to step into humanity's highest financial market for the first time, he at most didn't lose more than 10%, and even after 200 years, he could still make a profit of 16.2%, and the opponents he was competing against were the most outstanding and terrifying investors of the universe countries. This battle record, how shocking was that? Attracting the attention of the Virtual Universe Company, it wasn't strange at all. Actually, there were a few financial geniuses in the universe, it was just that their funds were small, many of them were in the low-level investment markets. Even if their entire life's worth was multiplied by 10 million times, they might not even reach one mixed element. They would never be able to step into the highest market. That was the importance of capital. Luo Hua had Luo Feng's huge capital, hence, he stepped into the market. Hence, he began to display his talent. 6 hours later, after receiving a list from Babata, Luo Feng's consciousness entered the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe, Amethyst Island. Envoy. Envoy. The Ganwu Department members of Amethyst Island bowed respectfully. Luo Feng swiftly entered the most glaring amethyst palace on the island. According to Babata's plan, if I were to buy the materials, the price would be about 1/5 of the universe crystals. However, it's still too high to nurture a 1,000,000 Sector Lord army, even if they are all the cheapest Blade Shadow Bug Clan Sector Lords, 1/5 of which is 2 mixed elements, that would still require 2 million mixed elements. Luo Feng walked on the amethyst floor, his footsteps resounding throughout the walkway. No. The price is too high, I only have 200 mixed elements left, I can't spend it like that. If I need to spend more money in the future, I'll have no choice but to ask my brother for money. Luo Feng thought, and what I want the most is to create the Tiger Shell Bug Clan. The Tiger Shell Bug Clan had strong defense, strong attacks, even powerful undyings. The number of tiger beetles they could kill at the same time was far less than the number of edge shadow beetles they could kill. Purple Lightning Official. Luo Feng pushed open the door and entered. Luo Feng, why did you think of looking for me? It's rare. The monkey-haired 8-man Purple Lightning Official smiled as he walked over. There's an important matter. Luo Feng said. Speak. 8-man Purple Lightning Official smiled. Just tell me directly. He wasn't afraid of Luo Feng looking for him. He was afraid Luo Feng wouldn't ask for his help. It's like this, I have a good friend who is an undying, he has a bug clan mother nest. Luo Feng smiled, hence we need to buy some materials, or buy some bug clan corpses. You are the head of the Ganwu Department's business department, you should be very clear about this. Is there any way to save money? Luo Feng's plan was like that. He would first get Babata to check on the market situation, before asking Purple Lightning Official. Nurture the bug clan mother nest? 8-man Purple Lightning Official exclaimed, your good friend has some ability, this mother nest auction is very rare, and it's hard to control. I want to know about the materials and Bug Clan corpses. Luo Feng asked. Haha, 8-man Purple Lightning official smiled. To buy the materials, if you use the Virtual Universe Network to search for the various markets, the cheapest market price wouldn't be that low. Actually, the best way to buy the materials is to directly buy a few companies. For example, companies that specialize in dealing with shipwreckage. If you directly buy that company, all the shipwreckage under that company will naturally belong to you. As long as you check on the company's internal structure and buy it, you'll probably only need to spend 1/3 to 1/10 of the original price. It all depends on your ability to find a good company. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. As for buying the Bug Clan corpses, it's simple. All the wreckage and trash in the outer region battlefields will be converted by the universe space and sent to the trash starfield. 8-man Purple Lightning official smiled. All those wreckage, all sorts of corpses, broken objects, etc., the wreckage of planets, are all moved to the trash starfield. There are large numbers of people stationed there to sort them out and sell them. 8-man Purple Lightning official smiled. If you want to buy the Bug Clan corpses, go directly to the trash starfield. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Some Undyings rely on their connections to find important members of the trash starfield and use unruly methods like bribery, etc. to get large amounts of Bug Clan corpses. 8-man Purple Lightning official exclaimed, "This is simply too much, it's completely stealing from the Virtual Universe Company. We should go through the proper channels to buy them." After saying that, 8-man Purple Lightning official even winked at Luo Feng, gesturing with his eyes. Luo Feng immediately laughed. This 8-man Purple Lightning official was hinting to him to use his connections to find people to bribe and get large amounts of Bug Clan corpses at low prices. However, as this was within the Virtual Universe Network, he couldn't say it out loud. However, this sort of hint was equivalent to saying it out loud. However, the Virtual Universe Company would close one eye to such matters. As long as it wasn't against the rules, it would be fine. The trash starfield has a total of 9 starfields. In the endless space of the 9 starfields, they are specially used to store the countless corpses from the alien battlefields, all sorts of battleship wreckage, puppet wreckage, huge weapon wreckage, planet wreckage, etc. 8-man Purple Lightning official smiled. This trash starfield 9 starfield, Luo Feng, you just have to check and you'll know. Right, you might not be familiar with it. I'll give you a Virtual Universe Network number. It's one of the people in charge there. We're good friends. Just say I'm the one who introduced him. You know him, it'll be more convenient for you to go there. After saying that, 8-man Purple Lightning official winked, gesturing with his eyes. All right. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Of course he knew. As long as he got through this person, he could get large amounts of Bug Clan corpses. The second day after meeting Purple Lightning official, Luo Feng brought Dylan on the UNMO planet ship and left Earth, heading towards one of the 9 great trash starfields, Wulong Starfield. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 686. The UNMO planet ship flew almost soundlessly at 50 times light speed through the quiet, dark universe. Within the ship's resting cabin, Luo Feng was half lying on his bed, leaning against the backrest, looking at the projection screen before him. On it were detailed records of the company's data, etc. Just using universe crystals to nurture bug soldiers is definitely not practical. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and said softly, "And buying the companies seems very complicated now." The resting cabin resounded with Babata's sharp voice. "It is very complicated. The main thing is that, Luo Feng, when you buy the alloy remains, the gelatinous materials, etc., the requirements are too high. For example, those ship remains, etc., you actually want the lowest grade alloys to be C grade, the best would be D or E grade. Those gelatinous materials and scales too, the requirements are extremely high. And the blood, etc., it has to be at least universe-level beast or other life forms blood. How can you do business? Even though those companies have a certain range of operations, covering tens of star fields, D and E grade ship remains, alloy remains, some A, B and C grade ones have to be done too. After all the low-end business, only the quantity is sufficient. However, that's useless to me. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. What he wanted to create was a Sector Lord army. To nurture a Sector Lord pinnacle bug soldier, it required metals, gelatinous materials, blood, etc. The requirements for the materials were also very high. The best would be E-grade alloys, metals, etc. Even if there weren't such high-end materials, he would still have to use the lower-end materials to make up for it. However, the lower-end materials were C-grade alloys and metals. Any lower, it would be very inefficient. However, in the entire Ganwu Universe country, there were only a few companies that dealt with E-grade ship remains, alloy remains and other high-end businesses. However, to be able to deal in such high-end businesses, they usually had a huge backing. Maybe these companies' true parent company was the Virtual Universe Company. They wouldn't easily sell them. And some of the larger businesses, Luo Feng wouldn't be able to buy them at all, because A and B grade alloys and metals were the majority. That Purple Lightning official said this method. He even made it sound so extravagant. Luo Feng shook his head. Now that I've actually seen the detailed data he wants, only then do I realize how troublesome it is. These data were all provided by Purple Lightning official. Just within the Ganwu Universe country's territory, the large amounts of detailed data for these companies were already considered high-level secrets. Without some ability, one wouldn't be able to obtain such data. As for the Violet Lightning Marquis, he was the head of the Ministry of Commerce, so it was only natural that he would have access to such data. And Luo Feng could use the reason that the supervisor envoy wanted to monitor him to obtain this data, and not be restricted by the Virtual Universe Company. You can't blame Purple Lightning official. Luo Feng, that Purple Lightning official only knew that you were going to nurture bug soldiers, who would have thought that you would only nurture Sector Lord level ones. Normally, in a real battle, one would nurture large amounts of Star Traveler, Star level and Universe level bug soldiers. Even though they are just cannon fodder, but in large numbers, they are still useful in the battlefield outside. Babata said. Endless sea of insects. A single insect race mother nest could nurture an astonishing number of insects. In the Outer Realm battlefield, the entire insect race and the large number of low-level insects created by the insect race mother nest would unite to form an extremely terrifying insect sea. I don't want to use it in the outer region battlefield. I need an army that can fight against undyings. I only have one insectoid hive, and if I want to nurture low-level insectoids, the price-performance ratio is very low, and it doesn't meet my requirements at all. Luo Feng shook his head, and to let the low-level bug clans kill and devour each other to evolve to Sector Lord level, that's a 100 times waste of energy. This doesn't meet my requirements. Luo Feng, I've calculated in detail. If we buy companies, we can roughly buy 91 to 95 of them. To create bug soldiers, we'll use about 1/10 of the universe crystals. Babata said. Luo Feng nodded. If that was the case, then the 1 million Sector Lord Shadowbug clan would require 1 million mixed elements. The 1 million Sector Lord Tiger Beetle clan would require 2.5 million mixed elements. The 1 million Sector Lord Tiger Beetle clan would require 5 million mixed elements. Of course, Luo Feng didn't even dare to think about creating a King Sector Lord. That 100 times price was simply too high. Still too high. Luo Feng frowned. I want the 1 million Sector Lord Tiger Beetle clan. I actually need a total of 2.5 million mixed elements. I only have 2 million in my bank account. It's not even 2.5 million mixed elements. Back then, Hu Yenbo left Luo Feng with about 122 million mixed elements, to modify and repair the Yunimo planet ship, to nurture the cloud contact vine. He had already spent over 400,000 mixed elements, after which Luo Feng gave his brother Luo Hua another 500,000 mixed elements to invest. Right now Luo Feng's remaining funds were 218 million mixed elements. Luo Feng, this is already the limit, Babata said. Purple Lightning Official is the Ganwu Department's business department head, and you're the supervisor envoy. That's why you're able to get such detailed data, and buy these companies at such a low price. Otherwise the price would be at least 50% higher. To get the 1 million sector Lord Tiger Beetle clan, you'd need about 3.8 million mixed element. Luo Feng nodded. Of course he understood, this was the benefit of authority. 3.8 million to 2.5 million, that was a total of 1.3 million mixed elements, what a huge amount of wealth. However, Luo Feng's own wealth wasn't much. Right now he only had 218 million mixed elements. Naturally he had to save as much as he could. Wulong Starfield, as one of the 9 trash starfields, was located in an extremely remote area of the human domain. From the Ganwu universe country's Milky Way Earth, even if one traveled at 50 times the speed of light in the dark universe, it would still require about 1 year and 2 months to reach Wulong Starfield. Virtual Universe, Ganwu Continent. In a tall restaurant's first-floor lobby, a man with dark red skin, a bloody mouth, dark green short hair, yet dressed in a very formal and luxurious robe, walked into the vast first-floor lobby. A formless pressure enveloped the entire lobby. At the same time behind him followed a row of handsome men and a row of beautiful women. Beside him was a green-skinned, silver-robed attendant who was always grinning. To the top floor. The dark red-skinned leader walked straight towards the escalator. His follower, along with tens of handsome men and beautiful women, stood outside, almost as though they were preventing anyone from entering the escalator. Wah! The escalator rose. Everyone, the other guests on this escalator. A person in charge of this luxurious hotel walked over, about to speak. Scram! The tens of handsome men and beautiful women simultaneously released their auras. Just the consciousness pressure alone immediately caused the person in charge's consciousness to crumble and fall to the ground. No one dared to make a sound in the vast first-floor lobby. Everyone was shocked and horrified to discover that these tens of handsome men and beautiful women were all the Undyings. Within the escalator. From the first level to the top 9,822 level, it took a while. Master, is there a need to personally meet this Luo Feng? Just send this little one to meet him. It's just a punk. The silver-robed follower said humbly. What do you know? You know who his teacher is, right? The dark red-skinned leader opened his bloody mouth and laughed. It's that powerful True Yen Emperor. The silver-robed follower said, however, even though True Yan's position is special, he's only his disciple. Within our virtual universe company, there are even a few who are the disciples of the Universe Knights. What's more, these absolute beings all have their own group of disciples. They won't easily help their disciples. If they fall, then so be it. The dark red-skinned leader sneered. Let me tell you, his current undying guard is called Dylan. His teacher is the bloodthirsty Emperor Xuejuan, and the bloodthirsty Emperor is True Yan's most outstanding disciple, and Dylan, according to what I know, his true strength has already barely reached the level of an official. To have an official level Undying protect him. Ah. The silver-robed follower was shocked. Master, I understand, this is True Yen secretly sending Dylan to protect Luo Feng. This True Yen really values Luo Feng. The Universe Knights were high above. Giving a few pointers to their disciples was already good enough. They wouldn't spend too much effort on it. And even though True Yen hadn't become a Universe Knight yet, in the eyes of many, he was the closest to a Universe Knight. Even if a Universe Knight wanted to kill him, it would be hard to succeed. Such a strong being was the most terrifying thing about an Emperor-level Undying. 1. The ladder's speed slowed and stopped. It had already stopped at the top level 9,822. The entire top level, there was only one dining table. At one side sat a black-haired youth. Beside him stood a bald black-robed man. Long K Emperor. Luo Feng stood up, smiling and shouting. Ha ha! The dark red-skinned leader laughed loudly, walking straight to Luo Feng, scrutinizing him, laughing. "No wonder you are one of the most valued geniuses of this round. This aura is extraordinary. Sit down and chat." Following which, the dark red-skinned leader Tian Feng sat opposite Luo Feng. The silver-robed follower stood respectfully behind him. Long K Emperor is willing to meet Luo Feng. Luo Feng is really surprised and excited. Luo Feng said, this Long K Emperor before him, his name was Tian Feng. He was a good friend of the business minister Purple Lightning official, also one of the people in charge of the Wulong Starfield. Tens of thousands of years ago, he had just been crowned emperor. Long K Emperor's true strength, he probably barely made it. However, because he was in one of the 9 trash starfields, the Wulong Starfield was the highest level. Even though the 9 great starfields were labeled as trash by all the undyings in the human domain, in truth, these 9 great starfields, in terms of value, were even more valuable than the 9 universe countries. Because in the outer region battlefield, as long as the war continued, there would be endless amounts of battle corpses that would be moved into space and sent here. Those corpses, many were Sector Lord weapons, flying ships, as well as countless treasures that flew out from the internal worlds of the Sector Lord. There were also many weapons that the Undying spent huge amounts of resources to create, etc. There were also some huge technological weapons, automatons. Even though they were all corpses, the moment they accumulated, their value would still be incredibly high. Race wars. Resulting in trash, the prices would be incredibly high. Hence, to be able to become one of the highest-level members of a starfield, he was even more powerful than the Ganwu department's business minister. Such a person would often have emperor-level undyings asking for their help. Even the universe knights would occasionally go. Hence, even though his strength wasn't considered strong, his position was extremely high. Back then it was just a casual invitation. He didn't expect Tian Feng to be willing to personally receive him in the virtual universe. After getting his confirmation, he was extremely shocked and overjoyed. "I heard you want to get some Bug Clan corpses?" Long K Emperor Tian Feng smiled widely, laughing. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 687. I do need some. Luo Feng smiled. Roughly how much? The dark red-skinned leader Tian Feng lifted the wine glass beside him and took a sip, after which he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng sighed. If they're all Sector Lord Pinnacle bug corpses, the tiger carapace ones are not bad. I'll need about 10 million corpses. 10 million Sector Lord Pinnacle? Tian Feng, who was tasting his wine, immediately stopped, his red eyes examining Luo Feng. The silver-robed follower behind the dark red-skinned leader Tian Feng was shocked too, looking at the black-haired youth before him. This Luo Feng is indeed ruthless. He's actually prepared to buy 10 million Sector Lord Pinnacle bug corpses. This is about the upper limit of what the master can do at once. Luckily, it's still within my limits. If it were any more, I'd have to discuss with the other people in charge. Tian Feng placed his wine glass down. Then I'll have to trouble Long Ju Emperor. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Saying 10 million bug corpses, it was referring to 10 million complete corpses. However, almost all the corpses from the alien battlefields were incomplete. Usually a few incomplete corpses could be considered as one. After all, buying the bug corpses were mostly the strongest humans with the Bug Clan mother nests. They were all for the sake of nurturing large amounts of bug soldiers. As for the corpses, they didn't need to be complete. However, according to what Alina said, 5 to 6 complete tiger carapace corpses, the moment they're swallowed, they can nurture a living tiger carapace bug. I'll get 10 million, then building a 1 million Sector Lord army won't be a problem. Luo Feng's heart finally relaxed, because to nurture a Sector Lord bug, the amount of resources and energy required was simply too shocking. Assuming he used normal A-grade metals, even with 100 Earth-grade metals, along with the same amount of low-level blood and gel, it still wouldn't be enough to nurture a Sector Lord Pinnacle bug. Sector Lord. Under normal circumstances, 1,000 galaxies would only give birth to one sector lord. With an absolute warrior's guidance, the chances might increase by 10 times, however one could still see the rarity of sector lords. A sector lord could easily destroy a planet with a wave of his hand. To nurture a sector lord pinnacle bug, the amount of resources required was unimaginable. Luckily Luo Feng was asking for sector lord pinnacle bug corpses. If it was a domain lord pinnacle bug corpse, it would probably increase by 10,000 times. He needed 100 billion domain lord pinnacle bug corpses. An hour later, the dark red-skinned leader Tian Feng brought his silver-robed followers and tens of handsome and beautiful undyings and left the luxurious restaurant. Top floor of the restaurant. Luo Feng looked down through the glass. This was the 9,822nd level. The distance from the top level to the first level was about 100 kilometers. However, Luo Feng could still clearly see the endless stream of people on the streets below, the different races of humans, all sorts of strange appearances. Your Highness, congratulations, Dylan said with a smile. With this King Long Ju's promise, there will be no problem. By the way, Your Highness has purchased so many insectoid corpses. Who are you buying them for? For myself, Luo Feng said. Dylan's eyes flashed with a glint as he smiled. Your Majesty, although you have the bug race mother nest, you have no way of controlling it at all. What are you going to do with so many bug race corpses now? The corpses of the insectoids will rot if left here for too long. Immortality was the only way to be eternal. The corpse of a sector lord would indeed rot. That's why I want sector lord pinnacle bug race corpses. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. The stronger one is, the slower the corpse will rot. That student-level normal person will start to rot in 10 days to half a month. Universe-level corpses will take tens to hundreds of years before they rot. And sector lord pinnacle, even after 10,000 years, usually only a portion will rot. After tens of thousands of years, only the bones will be left, and after another few tens of thousands of years, that sector lord's bones will completely rot. I'm talking about humans and the bug race. Their body structure is different from humans. The outer layer of the bug race is mostly made of scales. They can last longer. Also, that's without maintenance. If it's frozen in ice, the time of decay can be delayed by 100 to 1,000 times. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. With sector lord pinnacle bug race corpses, even after 100,000 years, as long as they're frozen, they definitely won't rot. Dylan nodded. Anyway, even if I don't use it, I can sell it in the future. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. What's more, I have the mother nest. I'll definitely think of ways to control it. In my plan, I won't stay at Domain Lord level for more than 10,000 years. Once I reach Sector Lord Pinnacle, I'll naturally think of ways to control the mother nest. Your Majesty has thought far ahead. Dylan smiled. Luo Feng glanced at Dylan. Before, when he told the 8-man Purple Lightning official that he was buying for a senior, however, Dylan had always been by his side, and was of the same bloodline as him. They were both from True Yen Emperor's bloodline. The Undyings he knew. Dylan probably knew most of them too. Lying to Dylan would definitely be exposed in the future. Hence he just admitted it. And Dylan was under True Yan's orders to protect him. His every move would be reported to True Yen. True Yen was his teacher. Other than his important secrets that he couldn't reveal, he would try not to lie if he could. Thought far ahead? To compete with the pinnacle geniuses of humanity, how can I not think further ahead? If I only look at the present, I'm afraid I'll be surpassed by others in the future. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. For example, I've long bought a soul-related technique and started training in it. Once I'm done, I'll be able to control the Bug Clan mother nest. Dylan's eyes gleamed, smiling and praising. Your Majesty has thought far ahead. Dylan respects it. When you have the mother nest in the future, you'll create the Bug Clan Sector Lord Army. Your Majesty, I'll be waiting for that day. Ha ha! Luo Feng laughed. He had long trained in the third level of 10,000 soul control and controlled the Bug Clan Mother Nest. The moment he acquired enough Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Corpses, he would be able to start building the Bug Clan Sector Lord Army. With the Sector Lord Army in hand, the Sector Lord level will be able to roam the universe in life and death situations. I'll be able to head to some dangerous places. Luo Feng anticipated. The Yun Mo planet ship continued to advance in the dark universe. 9 months after Luo Feng left Earth, Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God sat around a table. I tried to contact you earlier, but I couldn't. Luo Feng lifted the teapot and poured tea for the 3-cup. The amber-like tea became threads and entered the cups. Seems like Big Brother has closed the internet connection? 30. Don't mention Big Brother. I've been searching for you these 100 years. How many times have I found you? Beside, the white-robed bald Thunder God said, only when you returned to 9-Star Bay did we meet. The other times I've looked for you, you've always closed the internet connection. Big Brother too. In these 100 years, I haven't been able to contact him once. The two of you are busy. Don't talk about us. Luo Feng looked at Thunder God. Second brother, it seems like you haven't been on Earth for the past 200 years. Back then you said you were guarding Earth. Luo Feng and Thunder God bickered for a while. Beside, Hong held his teacup, smiling as he watched the two bickered, gently tasting the tea. Big Brother, 30 has been going to the Golden Horn clan's home these 100 years. The white-robed bald Thunder God said, the Golden Horn clan is a different clan from us humans. They're just considered a vassal of us humans. Right? The news of the Golden Horn clan being a vassal of humans, don't spread it, just us knowing is enough. Hong nodded. Luo Feng and Thunder God exchanged glances. Because of the Ji Qing incident back then, Hong seemed very calm on the surface. However, the two brothers knew that Hong had indeed suffered a huge blow. After which, Hong joined the elite training camp of the Battleaxe Coliseum. After which, Luo Feng and Thunder God, other than being able to contact their big brother at the start, they hadn't been able to contact him ever since. Over 100 years, they hadn't been able to contact him at all. Big Brother, Luo Feng said. Hong looked over. These past 100 years, what has Big Brother been doing? Luo Feng asked. Primal Chaos City, Hong said. Primal Chaos City? Luo Feng was shocked. Beside him the white-robed Thunder God stared wide-eyed. Luo Feng had been to Primal Chaos City before, hence Thunder God was very clear on what it meant, to enter Primal Chaos City. That was extremely difficult. After the J-Dome planet incident ended, I went to the Special Elite Training Camp. In those years, I stood out and improved quite a bit. Finally, I was absorbed by the core of the Battleaxe Coliseum. Hong smiled indifferently. Being absorbed into the core, our batch of special elites also have the chance to train in Primal Chaos City in the Primal Universe. Our training time is the same as Third Brother. It's equivalent to 100 years in the outside world. Just yesterday, I just left the Primal Universe and am currently heading towards one of the secret regions of the Battleaxe Coliseum. I'm currently within a ship. My consciousness is connecting to the universe network, looking for Second Brother and Third Brother to gather. Damn! Thunder God stared wide-eyed. Damn! Luo Feng shouted out the same word. Damn it! This Big Brother Hong, he was simply too low profile. Big Brother, you're simply too calm. Entering the core of the Battleaxe Coliseum. Even in the genius battles of the entire Ganwu universe country, there might not even be one chosen. Now that you've entered the core of the Battleaxe Coliseum, you actually haven't told anyone, and you're so calm. After entering Primal Chaos City for 100 years, you haven't even contacted anyone. Thunder God stared wide-eyed. It's just some encounters, allowing my training path to be faster and more stable. What's there to be proud of? Hong said casually. You're vicious. Thunder God was speechless. Big brother, aren't you mocking me for being too proud? Luo Feng looked at Hong. Ha ha, Hong laughed. Alright, this is just a small matter. And the Battleaxe Coliseum only selects the special elites of the entire universe's human territories. Even if they enter the core, they'll only be at the outer area. It's equivalent to your virtual universe company's last phase members. It's indeed nothing to be proud of, if one day I can enter the core Battleaxe secret region and become a member. When that time comes, there'll definitely be a huge celebration. Luo Feng and Thunder God exchanged glances and smiled. From the Ganwu universe country Milky Way to the distant Wulong starfield, it was indeed very far. After a year and 2 months of travel, Luo Feng and his group finally reached the Wulong starfield. P.S. Chapter 2 here. Chapter 688. Wulong starfield, one of the 9 trash starfields, however it was a true treasure trove. There were ripples in the dark space, and a blood-colored triangular universe ship appeared. Within the ship's control room, Luo Feng and Dylan looked at the floating palaces in space. Luo Feng, we've already reached the coordinates, universe travel complete. We're very close to the palaces now, we only need 25 minutes to reach. Babata's voice resounded within the control room. 1 year and 2 months, we've finally arrived. It wasn't easy coming here. Luo Feng smiled. Let's go meet Tianfeng. Yes. The Yun-Mo planet ship accelerated once more and became a blurry beam of light, heading towards the palaces. The palaces were squarish, with an outer wall. Within the wall, there were 10 palaces of different height. The entire palace's length and width exceeded 100,000 kilometers. Outside the wall, there were a few patrolling black armored guards. The entire palace's defense system had long discovered Luo Feng and his group. Stop. A warning signal was sent to the Yun-Mo planet ship. I'm Luo Feng, I've come to meet Emperor Longju. The Yun-Mo planet ship replied. After a while, the Yun-Mo planet ship stopped outside the palace walls. Luo Feng kept the ship and stood in space with Dylan, looking at the vast palaces before them. The palaces had a layer of energy barrier protecting them completely. With Luo Feng's knowledge, he could tell with a glance that this energy barrier was even higher than his Yun-Mo planet ship. The moment they tried to barge in, they would definitely be attacked by the defense system. Rumble, the door opened. The silver-robed follower led a large group of black armored guards and walked out. After seeing Luo Feng and Dylan, he smiled. Luo Feng, the master is already waiting for you, please follow me. Luo Feng and Dylan followed the silver-robed follower and entered the palaces. Rumble, the door closed once again. The tallest and most majestic palace within the palaces had large groups of white armored guards standing at the entrance. These white armored guards were all Sector Lord Pinnacle strength. Luo Feng and Dylan followed the silver-robed follower into the palace. Following the corridors, they quickly arrived at a quiet side hall. Haha, Luo Feng, this is our first real meeting. The dark red-skinned, red-eyed Longju Emperor Tianfeng smiled. Both of you sit. Thank you, Emperor Longju. Luo Feng said respectfully, following which he sat with Dylan. The last time we met in the Virtual Universe Network, the entire network was monitored by the Virtual Universe system, hence there were many things we couldn't say clearly. King Longju laughed. Back then, you said you wanted to buy 10 million Peak Sector Lord corpses. I'm not sure if you have investigated in the dark. In fact, this amount is indeed the upper limit of the transaction amount that I can approve. 9 trash starfields, any of them is richer than universe. The 9 trash starfields, any one of them is richer than a universe country. Emperor Long K emphasized, hence in the Wulong starfield, there are a total of 5 people in the top management. They come from the Virtual Universe Company, Battleaxe Dojo, Universe First Bank, these 5 human powers. If the transaction doesn't exceed 1 million mixed elements, any one of the 5 of us can approve it. Once it exceeds this scale, 5 people must approve it at the same time. King Longju laughed. If any one person is given too much power, it is very likely that a large amount of assets will be lost. Luo Feng nodded. And over here, every 100,000 peak sector Lord Bug corpses is worth 10,000 mixed elements. You want to buy 10 million of them, so that's exactly 1 million mixed element. Emperor Long Ju looked at Luo Feng, coincidentally. It's the upper limit of what I can approve. Looks like someone told you about the upper limit. This is too much of a coincidence. Luo Feng was shocked. I really didn't know about this. Long Ju King glanced at Luo Feng and didn't ask any further. And Emperor Long Ju squinted his eyes. That red gaze that made one's heart palpitate looked at Luo Feng. 10 million sector Lord Pinnacle Bug corpses. The price is 1 million mixed elements. Follow me later to pay. I wonder if it can be cheaper? Asked Luo Feng. I can't. Long K King shook his head. This is the price set by the 5 major human forces. 100,000 peak sector Lord corpses, or 1 billion peak domain Lord corpses, are all 10,000 mixed element unit. No bargaining allowed. Luo Feng frowned. He looked for Long K King to get a cheaper deal, however right now he didn't get any benefits at all. Whether it's me or the other 4 in charge. We're in charge of the trade, the prices are all set, we're not allowed to mess around. Emperor Long K noticed Luo Feng's expression and couldn't help but laugh loudly. Little punk, you look like you're getting anxious. Don't rush, keep your cool. Any law has a loophole. Emperor Long K rubbed his chin, looking at Luo Feng. This Bug Clan corpse trade, of course there's a loophole too. You were introduced by Purple Lightning official, and you're also a disciple of true Yen Emperor that I respect. Take it as me helping you out a little this time. Luo Feng listened carefully. Firstly, the money can't be any less. Tianfang smiled. However, you should know, the Bug Clan is split into many different types. The Pinnacle Bug Clan and the lower level Bug Clan, even if they're both Sector Lord Pinnacle level, their value can differ by 10 times. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Right. A Sector Lord Pinnacle Edge Shadow Bug Clan corpse and a Sector Lord Pinnacle Mantis Bug corpse, could their value be the same? The difference was about 5 times. Every 100,000 Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Clan corpses will be sold as 1 unit. Tianfang smiled. However, within the countless Bug Clan corpses stored in the Wulong Starfield, within the countless units, some units have the majority of the Pinnacle Bug Clan corpses, while others have the majority of the lower-level Bug Clan corpses. Both Sector Lord Pinnacle corpses, however, in different units, the value can differ by 2 to 3 times, the extreme can differ by 4 to 5 times. Luo Feng nodded. Right. 10 million Edge Shadow Bug Clan corpses and 10 million Mantis Bug corpses. The difference in value was 5 times. 5 times, what kind of concept was that? 1 million mixed elements to buy 5 million mixed elements worth of Bug Clan corpses. The profit from this was shocking. How terrifying was it to be able to make a profit of 4 million mixed element units just by selling it? Of course, in reality, it was hard to find such a huge difference in value. Usually a difference of 2 to 3 times was more common. These are 200 numbers. Tianfang flipped his hand and threw out 200 metal cards. These had complicated numbers on them. This is... Luo Feng extended his hand and used his spirit energy to control them. Every metal card was the size of a palm. 200 of them added up was almost as tall as a person. Every metal card's numbers were complicated. For example, one of them was B2461, 95,453, 13,402, 96,289, 71,833. Every serial number represents a commodity unit. Tianfang smiled. With one metal card, you can buy a Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Clan corpse. Every unit is 100,000 Bug Clan corpses. 200 units, isn't that 20 million? Luo Feng was stunned. These 200 units are not bad, they are all worth it. There are a few higher-level Bug Clan corpses. Tianfang laughed loudly. I gave you 200 metal cards to let you choose. Pick out the best 100 units. After you've chosen and brought them back, you can just return the remaining metal cards to me. Understood. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. He was filled with gratitude within. This Tian Feng actually didn't ask for any benefits, not even hinting at anything. What he didn't know was, to someone like Tian Feng with such a high position, why would he care about Luo Feng's little benefits? He would rather do a favor. Sometimes, giving favors was much more useful than taking benefits. To be able to occupy such a position, other than having a background, one had to know how to act. Here, this is a mid-level world ring. Tian Feng casually threw out a silver-white ring. There's a world inside, its length and width is 100,000 kilometers. If you buy 1 million mixed element worth of goods, you'll get a chance to go treasure hunting in the Trash Mountain. Treasure hunting? Luo Feng was stunned. Tian Feng nodded. The war outside the battlefields caused countless remains to be sent here. The various remains are sorted, the valuable ones are sorted out and sold separately. There are also some extremely low or worthless items. They'll all be gathered in one place, floating in space. That's the Trash Mountain. Usually those who come to buy will receive a world ring. They can pick out items from the Trash Mountain and place them inside, until the entire ring is filled. After that, they're forbidden from taking anything else from the Trash Mountain. Ah. Luo Feng nodded. 100,000 kilometers in length, width and height. Earth could fit up to a few hundred to 1,000 of them. What kind of capacity was that? One could see how rich the 9 great trash starfields were when doing business. Haha, the Trash Mountain is the accumulation of trillions of years, countless trash mountains. No one knows just how many items are stored there. Who knows, there might even be treasures. Tian Feng smiled. Buying comes with a world ring. This is a mid-level world ring. It can store quite a bit. Treasure hunting, who knows, you might even find some treasures. Luo Feng smiled too. Go to the finance department, pay the money first. After which you can enter the Wulong Starfield. This super huge treasure trove. Slowly pick out the bug corpses you want, slowly treasure hunting. Tian Feng smiled and stood up. The 200 gold card and the silver white space ring, these were all items, representing that Luo Feng could enter the Wulong Starfield and take away so many items. Luo Feng, Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Corpses, 100 unit. Transfer successful. Lord, 1 million mixed elements have been transferred. A seductive golden-haired female Undying said respectfully. Tian Feng nodded, turning to look at Luo Feng and Dylan. Luo Feng, let's go, I'll send you into the Wulong Starfield. After a while. Human domain, in the Wulong Starfield of the 9 great trash starfields, there's number 3 Luo Feng's name. Number 3 Luo Feng has just spent 1 million mixed elements, earning the chance to enter the starfield and purchase 100 Sector Lord bug corpses. According to my calculations, in the next 10 to 30 days, he'll be in the starfield. A piece of information, after a few hundred password changes, in the virtual universe network, in a very normal mail form, reached the headquarters mail receiving point. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 689. Within the majestic God country, high above, within the majestic shrine. Pa, 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 pa. A green-skinned man with a black horn on his head quickly walked on the crystal-clear ground. His footsteps echoed in the corridor. At the same time, his figure turned illusory. In just a few seconds, he arrived in front of a golden gate that emitted a chilling aura hundreds of kilometers away. Rumble, the green-skinned man pushed the door open and entered. The door rumbled open. The green-skinned man walked into the hall. This was a hall that was about 100 kilometers in length and width. Within the vast hall, other than the green-skinned man, there was only one other person. That was a silhouette completely covered in a golden robe, sitting there alone. The golden-robed man looked up. His gaze was like a sharp blade as it landed on the green-skinned man. Master! The green-skinned man immediately knelt down. Speak. The golden-robed man said indifferently. According to our reports, the records of the 9 trash starfields of humanity's Wulong starfield, number 3 has appeared in the records. The green-skinned man said respectfully. Number 3. The golden-robed man said softly, Luo Feng? Yes, master. According to the records, number 3 has just spent 1 million mixed elements to buy 100 sector Lord Bug corpses. According to my calculations, he should be entering the starfield now and starting to choose the sector Lord Bug corpses. For the next 10 days, 30 days, he'll be in the starfield. The green-skinned man said respectfully. Master, Wulong starfield is filled with countless corpses. It forbids undyings from entering. Meaning, number 3 Luo Feng is unable to bring his undying Dylan in. He can only follow the guide in himself. The green-skinned man looked up, his eyes gleaming. Master, this is our good chance. Lurking in the human domain, one of the most important duties of the organization was to kill any threatening absolute geniuses. The moment they were judged to be a threat, if they didn't kill these absolute geniuses before they truly rose up, the moment they became undyings, most of them would immediately become official level, and some absolute geniuses would quickly grow to become Emperor-level undyings. Then in the outer region battlefields, Emperor-level undyings would bring them terrifying losses. Naturally, there was a ranking based on the degree of threat. This ranking was a ranking of all geniuses, not yet undying level, from the Human Domain Virtual Universe Company, Battleaxe Coliseum, and the other 5 great powers. This was because sector lords had the fastest comprehension of origin laws. Their improvements were shocking. Hence, those peerless geniuses at the sector lord level had higher rankings. However, Luo Feng's threat ranking was number 3. Obviously, this Bug Clan organization had determined that Luo Feng's threat level was much higher than many sector lord level absolute geniuses. Maybe those sector lord level geniuses had trained for a long time and their strength far surpassed Luo Feng. However, with Luo Feng's display in the Gold Horn Race's Lasheo world, Luo Feng's improvement was simply too shocking. Peerless geniuses like him, who only appeared once every several tens of thousands of epochs, would of course have a high threat ranking. Just like the most dazzling geniuses of humanity in history, like Kudi etc., they would probably have long been ranked number 1 in the universe level. Number 3 entered the Wulong starfield? The golden-robed man ordered, pass down my order. Order number 6, who is lurking in the Wulong starfield, to kill number 3. Yes, the green-skinned man said respectfully. Number 3 represented the threat ranking, and this ranking also determined the price the Bug Clan was willing to pay. The higher the ranking, the higher the price the Bug Clan was willing to pay. And to ambush a chess piece in the Wulong starfield was an extremely difficult task. Every chess piece was incomparably precious, and number 6 was already the number 1 assassin among the chess pieces in the Wulong starfield. Wulong starfield. A meteorite floated in space unmoving. It looked like a meteorite, but its interior had long been modified into an observation point. Within the meteorite, Battleaxe Coliseum is currently having a domain lord level life and death battle. Brothers, everyone enter the virtual universe. Hurry, if you're slow, this battle will end. A tall and sturdy man completely covered in armor shouted excitedly. The days in the observation point were indeed boring. Watching life and death battles and gambling were also a kind of pastime they often had. I'm coming. Haha, recently my luck has been good. I've won 3 battles consecutively, this time I'll definitely win again. The members of the observation point were all shouting. They all split a thread of consciousness to connect to the virtual universe network. As for the observation mission, actually the entire Wulong starfield had an extremely complete surveillance system. It was purely technological. These observers' main job was to pay attention to whether or not the system was damaged, etc. After all, there was still a difference between an AI system and a human. Within one of the resting rooms in the observation point, built within the meteorite, it was completely made of alloy. A skinny man with a head covered in black scales and eyes glowing green laid on the bed. Who? He fiercely sat up on the bed, his green eyes staring at the alloy wall ahead. The mission is here. Hiding for 10,000 years, 100,000 years, just one chance to strike. The moment he struck, no matter if he succeeded or failed, it would be hard for him to survive. Even if he succeeded in killing Luo Feng, he would still be killed by the powerful human forces in the Wulong starfield. At this time, Luo Feng, Dylan and Long Ju Tianfang were sitting in a universe ship, traveling through the dark universe. Right now we are about to enter the center of the Wulong starfield. Long Ju Tianfang smiled. After all, the Wulong starfield is simply too huge. If we were to sit in the ship and fly slowly, even after 100,000 years, we would only be able to cover a small part of it. A normal galaxy had a diameter of about 100,000 light-years, and a starfield usually had 10,000 galaxies, with a diameter of a few million light-years was very normal. Lasheo World's land area's diameter was only 2.1 light-years. Compared to a huge starfield, it was simply a small dot. From this one could imagine the endless amounts of debris and trash within the Wulong starfield. Any random throw could fill up the entire Lasheo world. Hence we have to undergo universe travel and head towards a certain point. Long Ju Tianfang emphasized. I'm warning you, there are only a few fixed points in the Wulong starfield that allow for universe travel. The other regions are filled with endless amounts of goods and debris. The moment a ship appears, it will immediately be attacked. Even an Emperor-level Undying wouldn't be able to escape. Luo Feng was shocked. That powerful? The 9 trash starfields are the true treasure troves. Long Ju Tianfang smiled indifferently. Me and the other 4 seem to be the highest level. However, we are the highest level in charge of trade. In the entire Wulong starfield, there are still people in charge of surveillance and killing. There are even universe night-level beings stationed there. There's no choice. Wulong starfield and the other 9 trash starfields, if any of them were to be robbed, any random theft could result in a loss of up to 100 million mixed elements. Hence there has to be an extremely powerful force stationed there. Long Ju Tianfang smiled. Even I don't know about the true power of the Wulong starfield. I'm only in charge of trade. Luo Feng nodded. After flying for over 2 hours, the universe ship traveled through the universe and returned to the original universe space. A formless surveillance signal swept past. Rumble, in the distance there was a palace floating in space, about 10,000 kilometers in diameter. Silhouettes immediately flew out. This universe ship stopped too and the cabin door opened. Long Ju, Luo Feng and Dylan all flew down. Long Ju Emperor. The group of people who welcomed them bowed respectfully. Long Ju Emperor nodded. This is Luo Feng. In a while, he'll be going in to purchase some goods. Send 2 guides to follow Luo Feng. Long Ju Emperor Tianfang ordered. The group of people all replied in unison, yes. Luo Feng and Dylan turned to look at their surroundings. They were immediately shocked. My God! With a glance, the endless space was completely filled with countless goods and wreckage. It was endless. I've long imagined this scene, but to actually see the entire universe space filled with endless goods, it's still too terrifying. Luo Feng looked up, it was similarly endless goods. As there was no gravity in the universe, there was no accurate up or down, hence, when Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings, he realized only the surrounding regions were empty, allowing one to accelerate to light-speed universe travel. The other regions were all filled with goods. Don't be shocked. Standing in space, Long Ju Emperor turned to look at Luo Feng, smiling. Race war, what's a race war? The few pinnacle races fight amongst themselves, and even some allied races, Those wars are truly earth-shattering. The amount of wreckage and trash they produce is naturally shocking. Those god countries etc. are far from enough to store the war trash, hence they specially created a starfield to store it. Wulong Starfield is merely one of the trash starfields. Luo Feng nodded. Also, as the treasures within are countless, hence it's forbidden for undyings to enter and choose. Emperor Longju smiled, because undyings can steal large amounts of goods and use their god countries to teleport and instantly escape. Hence, undyings are forbidden from entering when purchasing goods. Luo Feng realized. Right, if an undying were to madly steal and instantly teleport, he could lose up to 100 million mixed elements in one go. And such a huge amount of wealth, even an official-level undying wouldn't have that much. There would definitely be undyings who would take the risk. Even if they aren't undyings, Emperor Longju exclaimed, even sector lords and domain lords have to have extremely high authority. Normal sector lords and domain lords too don't have the right to enter. Luo Feng, you're a primal region member, with high authority, you can only enter. Those normal sector lords might be controlled by someone, they might even hide an undying in their internal world, or get a world ring and bring the undying inside. Emperor Longju, aren't you worried that my world ring has an undying? Luo Feng smiled. You? Your authority is so high, a primal region member, the moment you steal, you'll definitely be hunted by the entire human race. You'll never be able to return. Can you bear to do that? Emperor Longju looked at Luo Feng. What if I'm soul-controlled? Luo Feng asked. A genius with such high authority over soul control, those organizations wouldn't be so stupid as to waste such a precious spy to steal some goods. Maybe to an individual, these goods are very expensive, however to an entire race, it's nothing. Emperor Longju shook his head. At this time, two white-robed silhouettes flew over. Luo Feng, those are the two guides. Emperor Longju pointed at the two white-robed men. Follow them, simultaneously tell them your metal plate number, they will lead you to the exact location of the Bug Clan corpses. As for Dylan, he'll temporarily stay here. These are the rules, the goods storage region forbids undyings from entering, even I can't break it. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 690. Luo Feng nodded, turning to look at Dylan beside him. Dylan, you can stay here and train for a while. Your Majesty must be careful when you're alone. Dylan reminded him. For over 200 years, Dylan had always been by his side, rarely allowing Luo Feng to leave his protection. Haha, what's there to be careful of? Emperor Long Ke laughed loudly. This is the Wulong Starfield, a truly important place, there won't be any danger. And there are many strong warriors stationed here. The moment there's any movement, the security system will immediately notice. The universe night-level existences can instantly arrive at any place in the Wulong Starfield. Dylan, you heard that right. Luo Feng smiled at Dylan. Emperor Long Ke, then I'll be heading in first. Luo Feng said. Haha, go on, don't forget to head to the Trash Mountain to search for treasures. Who knows, you might strike it rich. Over 3,000 eras ago in our Wulong Starfield, there was an internal member who was casually searching for treasures. He found an ancient treasure shard, instantly earning over 100 million mixed elements. He immediately struck it rich. Emperor Long Ke exclaimed, even though we're very careful in categorizing the various remains, there's simply too many, even the robots would make mistakes sometimes. Occasionally, someone would dig up some treasures. How many have dug up over 100 million mixed elements worth of treasures? Luo Feng asked. In the last 10,000 eras, only 2. Emperor Long Ke said. Luo Feng shook his head. The 9 trash starfields would attract many of the upper echelons of the human domain, sending their sector lords to purchase goods. The daily transactions would be extremely high, every transaction would be based on the value of the transaction. A different world ring would be sent to the Trash Mountain to search for treasures. However, in close to 100 million years, Only 2 people had truly obtained an astronomical amount of treasures. Obviously the chances were extremely low. Treasure, 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 it's to search for treasures, but it's just a gift from our Wulong starfield, if you really want to obtain so many treasures, unless you're extremely lucky. Emperor Long Ke mocked. Luo Feng laughed. After which, he bid farewell to Emperor Long Ke and Dylan, saying to the 2 white-robed men, "2 guides, let's depart." The 2 white-robed men replied respectfully, "Yes, Lord Luo Feng." The white-robed man waved his hand and a disc-shaped universe ship with a diameter of 80 m appeared in mid-air, simultaneously saying respectfully, "Lord Luo Feng, to travel within the Wulong starfield, you'll need to use our internal standard ships. If other ships were to randomly enter, they'll be attacked, please enter." Luo Feng and the 2 white-robed men flew through the cabin door. Following this, the spaceship rapidly accelerated, reaching the speed of light and directly disappearing into the distant starry sky. King Long Ke, Dylan, and the others watched as the flying ship flew away. "Dylan, how long do you think this Luo Feng will take to return?" laughed Long Ju. "Half a month," Dylan said. "I'm guessing at least half a year." King Long Ju laughed out loud. Then, together with the group of people who had come to greet him, they traveled through hundreds of thousands of miles of space, and flew into the palace in the distance. The standard flying saucer-shaped spaceship flew for a while in the dark universe before returning to the original universe. "Lord Luo Feng, even though we've only flown in the dark universe for a short while, if we were to slowly fly in the Wulong starfield, to reach the sector Lord Bugcorp's area, it'll take at least 100 years. The silver-white flying saucer stopped in space. The cabin door opened and Luo Feng and the other 2 flew out. Beside them, one of the white-robed men was still speaking. "I understand, 1 light year in the original universe is only a little more than 3 light seconds in the dark universe." Luo Feng spoke, his eyes however surveying his surroundings. My God! The surrounding area of 10 light seconds was empty. Beyond that was an endless amount of bug corpses. Buying bug corpses all starts from here. The slightly taller white-robed man laughed. "Your Majesty, please tell me the metal plate number." "What?" Luo Feng flipped his hand and immediately 200 metal plates appeared, scaring the 2 white-robed men beside him. The 2 white-robed men looked carefully. B2461, 95,453, 13,402, 96,289, 71,859, B2446, 56,453, 13,202, 96,226, 43,193. The numbers were complicated, the number was terrifying. After looking at the numbers, the 2 white-robed men lowered their heads to look at the quantum computers on their wrists, swiftly checking and quickly raising their heads to look at Luo Feng respectfully. "Lord Luo Feng, these 200 metal plates represent that the 200 bug corpses aren't too far from each other. However, there's still some distance between each other. Calculating the overall route, if we directly fly with our bodies, the 2 of us carrying Lord Luo Feng, flying at 100,000 kilometers per second, 1 round would take about 13 days. The slightly taller white-robed man smiled. "This distance is considered rather close." Luo Feng muttered to himself. With the Wulong starfield having a diameter of a few million light-years, it would only take about 10 days of flight to be able to check all the goods. It was indeed considered very close. "Let's go," Luo Feng ordered. "Yes." The 2 white-robed leaders simultaneously released their world energy, enveloping Luo Feng and becoming beams of light that swiftly flew. Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors could easily maintain sub-light speed flight, and Undyings could completely reach light speed with their bodies to travel between dark universe and actual universe. So many. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. The densely packed endless amounts of goods filled the entire space, with only a few tunnels passing through. Luo Feng and the other two followed one of the tunnels that was about 100 kilometers wide as they flew. Endless amounts of bug corpses, almost all of them are broken bodies. While Luo Feng swiftly flew through the tunnel, he used his spirit energy to scan the nearby bug corpses. These are all Domain Lord Pinnacle corpses. That Long Ju Emperor was right, there are all sorts of bug corpses here. There's the elite ones and the low-level ones. The prices are indeed different. After flying for a total of 8 days, Luo Feng and the other two finally reached the Sector Lord Pinnacle Bug Corpse area. Wu Long Starfield, in one of the observation points, a lean man with a head full of black scales was sitting quietly on his bed. He raised his head and looked in front of him. There was a detailed surveillance map of the entire Wu Long Starfield on the projection screen. The entire starfield was under surveillance. Dense dots of light appeared everywhere on the surveillance map. As long as it was within the storage area of the starfield, no one would be able to escape surveillance. B-24 region, zoom in. The skinny man's green eyes observed carefully, simultaneously ordering the quantum computer, lock onto those 3 silhouettes. D. On the screen, there were 3 light dots that were constantly moving on the B-24 alert surveillance map. 2 of the 3 light dots were white and 1 was red. Buying bug corpses? Number 3, Luo Feng? The lean man's green eyes silently stared at the monitoring map. As an observer of the Wu Long Starfield, every observer could see the monitoring map. Once there was a problem with the monitoring of a certain point in the entire starfield, these observers would immediately discover it. Moreover, they would immediately repair or reinstall it. After all, monitoring a starfield with a diameter of a few million light-years, how difficult was that? With a large amount of surveillance equipment, it was very easy for something to go wrong. Number 3 has already been in the bug corpse area for 2 days, we can leave. Who? The skinny man immediately stood up. Simultaneously the AI's projection screen vanished. What? The alloy door opened and the skinny man walked out. Causal. There was a tall and sturdy ape-man in the hallway, laughing loudly. What, you're heading out? It's boring, I still have 3 unused treasure hunting opportunities. I'm preparing to go treasure hunting once. Hee, are you coming? The skinny man laughed. The ape-man was a little envious, shaking his head. The moment the treasure hunting opportunities come, I'll use them all. I'm so envious, you still have 3 more. Haha, then I'll be going. Wish me luck on getting the treasures. The skinny man laughed and walked out. Keep dreaming. The ape-man shook his head. Rumble, the outer layer of the meteorite immediately split apart. The skinny man's green eyes scanned his surroundings, waving his hand and a silver-white disc-shaped ship appeared. He sat in the ship and swiftly accelerated through universe travel. After a while, ripples appeared outside the palace floating in the starry sky, and a silver-white flying saucer-shaped spaceship appeared. After keeping the ship, the skinny man number 6 immediately flew towards a side hall at the side of the palace. His arrival didn't cause any guards to stop him at all. Causal, why are you here? I'm bored. I'm preparing to try my luck at those trash mountains. The skinny man number 6 casually said a few words to the guards he was familiar with before entering the side hall. Within the side hall, there were many people seated. I'm here to collect my world ring. I still have 3 more treasure hunting opportunities. The skinny man immediately sat on a chair, speaking to a white-robed man in front of him. I've just sent an application in the virtual universe. It's causal, haha, wait up. The white-robed man sent a sliver of his consciousness into the virtual universe and started operating. Alright, this is a small-scale world ring. Remember, after the treasure hunting is over, you have to return the ring. As for the treasures you've obtained, keep them in your internal world. The white-robed man said. Don't worry, you're so long-winded, how would I not know? Causal laughed. Then I wish you good luck. The white-robed man threw out the black world ring. Causal smiled and extended his hand to receive it, after which he leisurely walked out. Halfway through, he turned and said, I remember treasure hunting, at most give us a year's time. Right, a year. The white-robed man said unhappily. Haha, this year is going to be easy. Kazel raised his eyebrows proudly. Treasure hunting, in Wulong Starfield and the other 9 trash starfields, had already become a tradition. This was because in history there were indeed a few extremely lucky people who managed to find some shockingly expensive treasures. After all, some of the trash mountains in the trash starfields had been there for who knows how many billions of years. There might be some treasures that were overlooked. Hence, plus the strong requests of some of the lower-level members of the 9 trash starfields, as well as the upper echelons who felt that the trash mountains were all about trying one's luck, the true treasures were extremely few, plus the lower-level members were indeed very boring, hence the upper echelons agreed. Hence, there was a benefit. Every 10,000 years, internal members could use the small-scale world ring to treasure hunt. P.S. Here's the second chapter.